Happy Saturday. Welcome back to the Sci-Fi Center Presents. For those of you who were with us just a few hours ago when we were doing our Justice League fundraiser for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, ended up raising about $50 during that hour, but I hope we're not done. The link to donate is in the description, but I'm putting it in the chat right now so that you can take your liberties if you indeed do want to. Tonight's show brought to you by our sponsors. First off is Lionsgate, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Hits theaters next Friday. If you live here and you're local and you would like to attend this, or you can make it to Vegas before or on or before, obviously Tuesday is the screening, you would catch an advanced viewing of this Tuesday at Brendan Palm's Theater, 6:15. Let me know if you're in the area, if you would like to go to that, or you can go to our next sponsor, which is Universal Pictures' latest vampire flick, Abigail, only in theaters April 19th. If, once again, you are in the Las Vegas area or will be on Wednesday, I can send you to a special screening of this, and you might even score an Abigail t-shirt with the cute little vampire girl on it. Last but not least, the third sponsor is Netflix and Rebel Moon Part 2 Scargiver hits Netflix on the 19th. Hate to sound like a broken record, but however, if you are going to be in the Las Vegas area on Wednesday, April 17th, you will be with me as we watch an advanced screening of this here at AMC Town Square. So reach out to me. Let me know if you're in a neighboring state, neighboring city, whatever you think you can make it. Let me know, and you'll be there with me. Out of the three movies that are happening next week, this is going to be the one that I will be at personally. Okie dokie. Currently, we are at $11,350 for our charity. I'll bring that up real quick so that you guys can see the damage. There we go. Not as much movement I would have liked during the charity stream, but we tend to pick it up a little bit during the secondary stream. So hopefully we put that seed in your mind. And either if you cannot donate and help get us to the 15 grand level, you can share it for other people. Everything goes for a good cause here. So, all right, tonight's topics, as you can see from the thumbnail, we're going to discuss some events that came out of Cinemcon, Transformers, G.I. Joe. How do you guys feel about that? I'm not sold on that. The ending of Star Trek Lower Decks and the renewal of Strange New World. I hear a lot of people on, like I said, all my Star Trek fandoms are like, they just want to burn Paramount at the stake, and everybody's upset. But what they need to understand is 5 years on a streamer, that's a long time. Most shows do not get 5 years. If your favorite show is on a streaming platform and you get 5 years, you won. So we'll discuss that. Musical discussion is going to be Body Count. I've been meaning to do this one for a long time, but it's a very sensitive topic, very sensitive band. A lot of the lyrics you couldn't play at your job without getting fired. But what Ice T did with Body Count and continues to do with Body Count is very, in my opinion, groundbreaking, especially given the genre that he was in and what he's known for and what he got into with Body Count. There was a lot of heat on him back then. We're going to discuss the Last Ronin, and then another piece of info that came out of Cinemcon, which is there will be an R-rated The Last Ronin adaptation, which I think is great. If there's any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle you are going to adapt as an R-rated film, then this is the one it should be. I do believe this is the best Ninja Turtle story that they've ever told. We're going to go over that. We're going to not review The Last Ronin. It's going to be a recommendation. I want you guys, for those of you who haven't read it yet, I want you to go out and get this. So from now on, our comic book turning point stories, I'm going to rename it to recommendations, because I want you guys to experience it. Unless it's like a story that we all know, that we've all read, like Crisis or Mutant Massacre, things that are universally known, like Spider-Man, Black Costume, things like that. But if it's something that not everybody has read, I'm just going to point you in the right direction, and hopefully you pick up the breadcrumbs from there. We're also, on that note, going to I'm going to point you towards Dead Boy Detectives. This is the newer version. This is the Sandman Universe Dead Boy Detectives. What we will review will go all the way back to the beginning of it, the 12-issue miniseries, and not just point you in the direction of that series, but those characters in general. I caught the light. Whatever. We don't need that light. I thought that Dead Boy Detectives premiered this week. I looked at it, and it's not until the 25th. So I was originally going to review the first 2 episodes because I know they're going to be releasing it in that whole binge format, which I really, really, really hate. I really think Netflix and all streamers should abandon the binge format. I think
hey everybody,
what's going on? I think the numbers have proven that the binge model sucks. It sucks for them. It sucks for keeping the conversation going. So and then it sucks for review because you're reviewing it while people have just bounced all 5 or 8 episodes off their brain, and you can't review it in pace. So the conversation comes and dies like bam right there and then, which is kind of unfortunate. They did it with they broke up Stranger Things, and it was a hit for them. I think that Netflix should abandon the binge dumping. So that's just me. Also, pinned to the top of the chat, if you would like to donate to the Frat Fund. I haven't had caffeine all day. I've had the shitty coffee because I couldn't leave here today because once I got here, I had people. Yeah, you guys should donate to the Frat Fund here. It's pinned to the top. Either that or to the Double Bacon Turkey Burger Fund, which I'm about to execute here in about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, let's help William get a good burger inside of there.
There we go. You know what? What is what is your fixation with that very shitty? Whatever.
Well, what are your fixation with the awful series you wanted me to sit through? And
they raise money. If Good Burger got us donations, dude.
Oh, Good Burger would get us donations because now you're suffering through it.
I don't suffer like you though.
No, you suffer. You suffered horribly through Howard the Duck.
Your voice changes when you suffer. It's quite hilarious. And so yeah, we're going to talk Dead Boy Detectives. We're going to talk Last Ronin. We're going to talk some Star Trek. Going to talk some stuff that came out of Cinemcon was pretty much for me a dud as far as the stuff I'm interested into. I mean, Paramount had some key announcements, but that's about it. Some of the shit we already knew, and the rest of it was just them lying again. Oh, we're gonna focus on you guys, NATO. We're gonna.
Wait, see, your voice changes just like it just did right there.
Yeah, because I need to sound like a liar. So so that was more of that. I talked to somebody who went, and it was just more than them pandering to the cinemas and telling them that everything was going to be okay when they're basically lying to them. But that's cool. I guess I can pretty much tell you what CinemaCon is going to be next year too. It's just a meeting of the dinosaurs trying to say, hey, the meteorite is not coming. We're going to be around forever. They told you a meteorite was headed towards it. Don't listen to them. Listen to us. Dinosaurs. We're going to be here forever. That's pretty much what CinemaCon has turned into. All right, let's hit the chat.
All right.
Oh, by the way, at the end of this, I will be making the aforementioned regrettable decision to let the inmates run the asylum for the last maybe half hour or so. And I heard there's some kind of challenge out there.
The challenge of get William to play the raid too.
I'll put some money behind it and I'll do it. Somebody donates, we'll do it. Dude, we got.
How's it going, Vince?
We're running out of time to get to 15 grand, man.
And I know Spider-Man. Of course, Spider-Man was there with us with our Justice League watch along / crucifixion.
Everybody run in front of us.
Oh, we were like the moment that movie started playing, we were all just going.
Hello, Spidey.
How's it going, Azteca? Watch UFC fights.
That sounds good.
Was just hanging over at a Junkman stream and get to see William Guest appear there one day.
And we've had him on here, so yeah, that might happen.
How's it going, Larry?
How you doing, Larry? Yeah, Larry's in. You said you're in Europe, Larry? Larry said he was in Europe. That's why you missed our classic.
How's it going, Rhea? Who else is in the? I'm super psyched for it. The trailer reminded me of the series Hunters a bit.
What is he super psyched for?
Yeah, I'm not. You can go back up and see if he. I think he's talking. Sympathizer. He's referring to Sympathizer.
Oh, I heard about that. The Vietnam movie, the post-Vietnam movie.
Damn, I'm hearing a majority of people that would see Civil War trailers are better than the actual. I thought Civil War was pretty good.
I haven't, like I said, I got the one buddy who reviewed it for me. He's told me that I'm probably not going to like it because I won't be able to suspend my bullshit meter long enough to enjoy it. That's got the rest of it. I've heard is just bad. I'm not, like I said, I didn't send anybody to review it. I sent people to see it. I didn't send anybody to review it because that's kind of one of those movies that a review on my channel is not going to do anything.
Well, to give kind of the cliff notes of it, this one American president has basically, declared himself a dictator, and he's in his third term, and he's, basically kind of launched he's launched an assault on numerous parts of the United States that are rebelling, and so that sparked a civil war, and the movie focuses on this group of journalists that they're from the kind of the rebellion side of the country, and they're taking a trip to DC to interview the president. And so it's kind of it's weird. It's kind of a road trip movie in some ways, but not, again, not like
it's more about the journalist covering it than it is about the
it's the focal point is very much these wartime journalists, as they go across the country as it's being torn apart. And there's a lot of parts of it where it's the war, the conflict itself is almost kind of in the backdrop in some ways. I mean, because there's parts of it where they're camping out for the night and they're seeing off in the distance, two sides firing at each other. And she says, okay, if they're still shooting in the morning, we'll go and like kind of snap a few shots of that.
Yeah, there's just some, and like I said, you told me everything about it, so it can't be spoiled for me. And I'm probably, like I said, I'm probably going to see that on the streamer.
Yeah, there's some but it's A24 doing a Civil War movie, so I should tell you a lot. There's some parts in it where there's one scene in particular that really is like edge of your seat, like suspense. So I'll just kind of leave it. Well,
they pretty much blow that in the trailer if you're talking about the same one I'm talking about. But
how's it going, Ruth?
But like I said, and anybody wants to come out and tell me, oh, it's right on the nose, this could happen to us today. And now that I know the premise of now that I pretty much had it told to me and what it, everything that happens in it, there's another layer of bullshit that I can lay over this now and be like, no, there are, in order for you to get to where that is, and that's why when people try to parallel it to today and what happened with the election, there are certain apparatus between that particular level and other levels that won't go along with it, and that lawfully have to, even though, that's why, you don't have a dictatorship here for over 200 and some odd years. It's the willingness at certain levels. And I'm not talking about elected officials. There's so many layers of bureaucracy that just wouldn't go for it, and that can cut it off immediately. There's certain things that would have to happen that certain levels would lawfully be able to say, no, we're not doing this. This isn't happening. And then the actual people themselves, the way this laid out here, like I said, there's more of a chance of me literally sprouting bat wings during this broadcast than the elements that played out in this movie ever happening. And right now I don't feel any tingling on my shoulders. So I'm going to leave that there. Now this is probably not only going to be just a streamer movie, but I'm probably going to speed through it. It just sounds like, one of those movies that's like, wow, that's a cute movie, until you realize how many, now, if you don't, if you're unfamiliar with any type of government, any type of military, anything like that, it's entertaining, I guess. And I guess that's all it meant to be. But my buddy is probably right. I would not be able to spin my bullshit meter, my helmet. I wouldn't be able to take off my how Professor X has Cerebro. I wouldn't be able to take off my bullshit Cerebro to be able to enjoy this movie, it sounds like. So streaming. All right, next one.
No, did we get a donation? And from the
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that was one from earlier night. Yeah, Josh Redenberg donated.
You got to be kidding me.
For Crazy Joe. Shout out to Crazy Joe. Let me make Justice League 2. Oh wow, nah, perhaps not.
Wait a minute. Let me. Hold
Thank you for the $25, though, Josh.
Let me pull that up. Let me see if I can.
It's up here.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, for anybody who's unfamiliar, Crazy Joe is well, we kind of have a policy of not getting into mudslinging with other YouTubers, so I don't know if I should even go into that.
He just has some interesting takes. That's all. I mean, he's not offensive. He just has some weird, interesting takes that probably just are. I don't know if they're real or not, but he's out there. So I've had him on. I mean, we've had him on here. I've been on the screen with Crazy Joe and asked him, "Are you okay?" he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm right. I'm being serious right now." I'm like, "Okay." I had to ask. I had to qualify what you're saying right now is. Did something fall on your head off the bookshelf? I didn't know. But yeah, he's pretty cool though.
Aaron, how's it going, Aaron?
Well, Audie.
Let's see. Spider-Man. Yes, I didn't catch the donation until we just brought that up there. So
yeah, it came on before the show.
I think a watch party for Dread should happen. Yeah, I think so. I would definitely be down for that, especially because it'd be so cool, like point out the commonality it has with the raid. And that's not just trivia, by the way. I mean, that is actually they did run into a little bit of a kind of a conundrum there when they were released, because the Dread started filming sooner, but the raid was the one that came out first, and they both are these cops fighting bad guys in in a single location apartment complex kind of premises. So the raid came out, was very acclaimed, and Dread doesn't come out for like 6 months after that. So they were like, oh damn it, but I mean it's cool. They're distinct enough that you can enjoy them on their own individual terms.
How's it going? Letting you get this blind raid reference out of the way right now.
I'm not stopping until we do a raid 2 watch party, man.
Probably not going to stop.
I suffered enough.
Okay? You're not going to stop after that. Yeah, Ray will be here on April 17th with me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for Rebel 2.
You're invited, by the way.
Yeah. Lower Decks is awesome. I'm sad it's ending, but I'll live. Yeah, that's the Star Trek animated series, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll hit that right now. Let's go ahead and knock that one off right now. Lower Decks is ending after 5 years. And Star Trek Strange New Worlds is getting renewed. To be 100% honest, I love Strange New Worlds. It may be at the end of everything the best Star Trek that I've seen, period, after we get its 5 years. I don't think Strange New Worlds is getting more than 5 years. 5 years is the new 7 because of the fact that the revenue structure that backs a streamer is different than the revenue structure that backs network television. The ad revenue and things like that, the distribution and syndicate, all that stuff, it's different when you're making a live television show. And generally, you put, before the old rules is that you wanted to get to a certain amount of episodes while you were in live, your first run, so that you had enough to sell to syndication. And that's what bumped up a lot of the contracts. Streaming dynamic works differently. It works on subscriber revenue right now. Now, eventually, we will get to the point where a lot of it is ad revenue, but right now the bulk of streaming revenue is ad based or is subscriber based. So you're dealing with a much smaller pool, I guess, when it comes to having to finance everything at once. So you look at some of the big series. There's not very many series out there right now that last more than 5 years on a streamer. Dude, Stranger Things is tremendously successful. Arguably one of the most successful things Netflix ever done. One of the most successful streaming shows, TV shows, period. 5 years. That's what it gets. Mindhunter, a show that I am advocating and begging Netflix to give a 3rd season, was renowned and highly praised. I can't even get a 3rd series of that. But you got 5 years of a show, a Star Trek show, an animated Star Trek show on a streamer. So to me, I'm not sad at all because, to be honest with you, like I said, 5 years over the course of time, that's good enough for me. I mean, and a lot of these characters, I don't think are going to go away anyway. I think that just because I think when the Discovery ends, I don't think that's going to be the last you see of the Discovery crew. I think once these people are integrated and introduced into a Star Trek show, they're there for a long time. Look at Picard. Picard had everyone from everything. You legit had people from Voyager, DS9. You had people from regular Next Generation. You had people from the entire walk of Star Trek family in a show that debuted nearly 30 some odd years after the original show did. So I think you'll see these characters again. Now, where they go next, as far as I don't need a Starfleet Academy show. I really don't. If you're going to spend that money, I would rather they spend it on the new Enterprise G show. Please do not call it Legacy. I won't watch it if you do. I'm just kidding. But that's where I would like, because that's where the momentum is. I think a lot of Star Trek people would be happy if you were losing one of these shows, but you were gaining something like that. But like I said, we with the renewal of Strange New Worlds, that was no surprise to me. But if next year, which would be season 4, I mean, if they come into season 4 and they announce that season 5 was it, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And you're getting the type of runway to end your story properly, unlike Enterprise did when they they gutted Enterprise and replaced it with a bunch of stupid stories because old Trek fan, hijacked everything and threatened everybody. At least you won't get a shitty last episode like Star Trek Enterprise did. That was criminally bad. So when it comes to the Lower Decks ending, listen, it wasn't my top Star Trek. However, I know my fellow Trek fans loved it. So you know what? I left it alone. It grew on me a little bit more than usual, especially when they did the crossover episode with Strange New Worlds. I thought that was hilarious, and I thought that opened up the doors to a lot of different branches on the Star Trek tree, and so I was happy to see that. But you know what? I never wished for it to go away. Because I know the Trek fan out there that likes it. So, but yeah, to me, when you hear a show that gets a full 5-year run and gets to end things on their term, you shouldn't be sad. You should be happy, especially when you're talking about Star Trek because they're working on other things. You just, right now financially, it's really tough to justify having so many projects up in the air when you're dealing with subscriber base type of things and budgets and everything else. Network, it's different because once again, you're selling a certain amount of episodes to syndication before you're even done with your initial run. So you're drawing in bigger revenue before your show even ends. Different. So when I heard a lot of people say, well, the other Star Trek shows got 7 years. Yeah. And they were all on network TV or first run syndication as is the case with Star Trek The Next Generation. All right. So we've covered that topic. Next one.
All right. Who's we got in the chat here? Since they were talking about Transformers to G.I. Joe, since Transformers 1, the soldiers were going to be revealed to be G.I. Joes down the line. They've been talking about making a Last Ronin movie or a game for those two separate questions. I thought that
now they're doing both. So yeah, you just kind of ran into one topic to another there, but
yeah, I thought that was a continuation of his initial question.
So Cinemcon, one of the things that they got pulled out of Cinemcon was the announcements of a Transformers and G.I. Joe movie, which okay. 15 years ago, when the iron was hot, I would have dove into this idea. Both franchises are pretty much sucked for the most part after their first initial movies. I don't know if there's any energy or momentum for this, and if they do it, here's the thing about what's killed G.I. Joe. What's killed G.I. Joe is a ridiculous, over-the-top franchise. You have to commit to that ridiculousness. You cannot go halfway as I've done before. You have to understand that you have to go into ridiculous city. You have to. Otherwise, you don't do it. And what they've done with all the G.I. Joe movies, they've kind of dipped their toe in the crazy, but you need to jump in. And if they're not willing to do it with this time around, I think it's going to have the same results. The marriage of these two franchises, just them being on the same screen, is not enough to get me excited one inch or another. I think they've both been sorely mishandled. I thought, the last Transformers movie was a little bit better than most. Bumblebee is a little bit better, but you have The Last Night. You have a lot of what they were going to do at Unicron. And then that one movie really sucked. That was almost as bad as Fog Monster Galactus. And then when they finally get to the Beast War movie, you tease and promote and tell me Unicron. Unicron's basically a Stan Lee cameo in that movie. That wasn't enough Unicron to make that worth it. And I don't know where they're going with this. I guess the next one, I get to see them all together. But I mean, damn. Unicron, by the way, has probably been one of the most handled toy IPs ever. Movie came out in '86. We didn't get a full-scale Unicron action figure till 10 years later, and then it wasn't any good. Then now you start to get other ones, and then we retconned them, and it's like, then we finally get them into a live action movie, and you don't do anything with them. You don't even have them transform. That was like the coolest moment of Transform. One of the coolest moments in Transformers the movie, when Galvatron was trying to use the Matrix against him, and he couldn't even get it open. And finally, Unicron just said, "You know what? I'm tired of you," and he transforms. I mean, the whole transformation mechanism was like really cool. And then when you see him, in full transformation, it's cool. Last movie didn't really do that, so I don't know if there's enough, energy in this franchise for this to even mean anything. But who knows? Who knows? So we're wiping through those. So we've already knocked off two of the topics. Thank you, Brad. Just kind of fucking things up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
all right. Let's hit the chat then, and we're
Aaron
going to
says I started to hate the binge format these days. Yeah, I've never really been like a binge guy myself. It's interesting you mentioned that because I think we just as a couple of the cast members just mentioned on social media. So we just we're on the 9-year anniversary just a few days ago of Daredevil dropping on Netflix, and I think that's when around when the whole binge format really was kind of really started to take off. And I never really got into the idea of blasting through everything like that in a whole weekend, because I just especially when you have it's shorter than a cable kind of a one season. You got
8 episodes or 13 episodes. It's over,
for Daredevil it was 13. For most of Marvel Netflix it was 13. But I don't know. I just kind of like to enjoy the journey and at my own pace. And I usually for shows like that on Netflix or what have you, it's like if they're all dropped at once, I'll just play them one a night over however long it takes to complete them. And it's like for that stuff like that, it's like over a 2-week period. It's like, okay, I got 2 weeks of just fun and all ninja craziness and one-shot fight scenes with Daredevil. So that sounds like a pretty fair deal to me.
Let's see.
Just how I like to do it. I mean, it's a pick your poison thing, but it's just how I personally do it.
Yeah, personally, I want to go week by week, because it builds a culture, it builds a community, and it builds for the show. I've never been a binge fan, and and it sucks because, like I said, I watch it at my pace, but then I'm on a show trying to review it, and then there's people who watched it all. It's kind of like we're not even on the same page. I am not a new metal fan. Sorry, guys. It's just a preference. Linkin Park, Goth, all those bands that came out in the early 90s, early 2000s. I literally I have earplugs that of Limp Bizkit, Slipknot. I'm not a Slipknot fan whatsoever. I'm not knocking any of those bands, but that it's a preference thing, and I get new metal. No. Notice you haven't seen me cover any of that shit. Sorry, it's not by accident. That music hurts my ears. Sorry. No, not to offend anybody. I was wondering what Vince was saying, but yeah, congratulations on the 30 years. Like I said, even though I'm not a big fan of that movie, they had the staying power. People they made music that people enjoyed. So even if it wasn't for me, congratulations on being out there.
By the way, this isn't really part of the topics, and this does venture outside of our usual kind of what we usually cover on here. But I don't know, William. Do you think we should maybe address the kind of the Iran, Israel kind of news of the last day or so?
Nothing much to address. You have a retaliatory strike by Iran that they've been promising a whole week against Israel for the attack on the consulate in Syria. Everybody involved would do well to dial it back. That includes Iran and Israel, because here's the thing, though. Neither one of those sides can fight a war without proxies and without backing, and you got to look around in the room, and do you want to drag your allies into this? Because you're literally talking about something that could, within a blink of an eye, escalate into a sort of a third world war. Both of these sides are backed by super nuclear powers. I don't think that would ever get to that level, but that's the kind of heavy leverage you bring into a situation like that. So it just disturbs me. I hope that we're through the worst of it. A lot of times you have to if you're running a country, you have to retaliate because your people are going to be like, you let them knock off one of our guys at an embassy. What are you doing? So you have to posture to the point where you're like, okay, we're going to do this. You only want to escalate it up to a certain point because everybody knows that line that nobody wants to cross. So right now, I'm hoping all sides involved understand where that line is, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very tragic situation going on right now, and everything William just said about proxies involved and how this could tip over if they cross beyond a certain line. It's very tragic. It's very scary. So, I'm just sitting here hoping this whole thing just this conflict comes to an end, and is peaceable and as swift a manner as possible. It's it's all you really can do when you're sitting over here thousands of miles away, just watching them, watching two countries just and now three, just bomb the hell out of each other. It's horrendous. It's and yeah, I think that's about what we can. But I did want to bring it up because it is that did start really kind of taking off a few hours ago, and it's a very unfortunate topic, and people have strong opinions, from whichever side you tend to have, your sympathies align with. It's like I think William has said when this first started, the inevitable outcome of any military conflict is innocent people get killed. That's just an inevitability of war, and the sooner that ends, the sooner. Yeah.
All right, real quick numbers. Is this numbers again?
Yes, numbers.
Okay, so you say, William, do you feel same as I do, where this week Raw had complete missed opportunity? Because here's how I would have booked it. Did you do number 2? Is this Cody would have had a celebration, then The Rock would have come out there, and The Rock would have said, well, unfortunately, Cody, I'm not coming out tonight as a wrestler. I'm coming out here as a member of the board of directors, and I think I may have interpreted the rules correctly. Last night it was Bloodline rules. Ooh, man, this is a lot. Which means the Bloodline was allowed to interfere in the match, and John Cena, not the Undertaker. So I'm good to call it. I think they would have. You would have had some violence there if they'd have done that. I thought the missed opportunity to me was, well, they kind of did it on SmackDown. But once again, to me, when it comes to post WrestleMania, that's when I go back to tuning out of WWE for the most part, because after that, the booking starts just getting kind of predictable and kind of goofy, and we're done with the pageantry of WrestleMania. I'll watch it, and I'll DVR right through it and see, there's certain matches I want to see. There's certain matches I don't care about. But it goes back to that elevation. It just starts to come way, way down. It'll probably come back around SummerSlam maybe, but right now, this is the time of year, right after that Raw after WrestleMania. I go back to, it's in my periphery, but I'm not going to turn my head until I see something flash. So that's where I'm at with WWE right now. So, all right. That's what personal attacks on you? No, you're an asshole. That's my personal attacks on you. And you're always coming.
I consider asking me to do another rewatch of any scary movie, much less all of them, a personal attack.
Large spiders. Oh, are we talking about Sting? Fuck no, we're not watching that shit. We're not. I don't care what you guys do. We're not watching that shit. It shouldn't be a problem. What do I think of the new Bloodline story? I think they're about to introduce they already introduced Tama Tonga, and I think Jacob Fatu is going to come in. I think they're going to split it, and then you're going to have one faction going against the other. And I think The Rock is going to come back in and insert himself into that and pick a side. I wasn't a big fan of 28 Days Later, so I don't have anything to compare. I don't think he's a bad director, but he just doesn't make movies that I'm that big.
One slightly related to that, anybody who wasn't watching, who wasn't along for the Justice League watch party we did a few hours ago, Miss Ruth mentioned that she what she did say it, so I guess it's okay for me to talk about that. She had for the upcoming 28 years later, she'd put in an application to be an extra, so you might potentially see her as a zombie in that when it comes out, in 2 years or so. So we will definitely be at Ruth. We will definitely, if that happens, we will definitely be picking your brain about that that whole experience.
All right, so Transformers 1. Transformer 1 was decent. After that, they just lost me.
Yeah, I was never a big well, not even just for the movie series itself. I just never was that big into Transformers, just the franchise. For whatever reason, it's it's one. I mean, maybe I played with some of the toys when I was a kid, but I just never really grabbed me as much as like a lot of other things did at that age. I did like Bumblebee quite a lot. I actually thought Bumblebee was pretty good. I did enjoy Bumblebee a lot.
I grew up with Transformers as a toy, and I just followed it from there. So I was already on board. And the first movie was awesome, but after that, it just kind of like, what the hell? Let's see. I still have not seen Fallout. I was going to watch it this afternoon, but I'm so backed up.
Yeah.
Okay, this is preferential, but I just couldn't. It just wasn't for me. And I know it was hugely successful, but it just wasn't for me. What is the personal attack? Did we get him already?
Personal attack is the suggestion of any more scary movie whatsoever. That's the personal attack.
No, but he's talking another personal attack on stream without any way to defend myself. See, this is what it is
to be a hero.
What are you talking about, Spidey? Like I said, we'll get around to personally attacking you, but I don't think I did yet. But
here's a good one for me. Number says, Brad, who's my Dreamcast to become a scary movie? I would do it entirely with claymation figures, so that no actor or actress would have to have something that bad attached to their resume. That's how I would do it. That's how I do
it. Yeah, now you're high.
No, he's just being fourth.
Zombie Ruthie.
Oh yes, Ruth. If they make you a zombie, you got to show us. Again, I'm sure there'll be NDAs involved, but you got to show us like whatever, like behind the scenes, like photos of like the zombie makeup and all that you'll be allowed to do.
All right, I'm gonna use the restroom. I'm gonna grab my food. We hit up the chat a little bit more, and then we'll. Okay. When I get back, we're gonna hit the topics.
Okay. All right. So William is taking. So let me go ahead and see what else you guys got for us tonight. Sounds like Civil War. Yeah, I mean it's again the conflict itself. Up until the end, the conflict itself is kind of more in the back. And Ruth, you actually saw it today, didn't you? So go ahead and sign off in the comments what your thoughts were on it. But yeah, the conflict itself is almost kind of in the backdrop, because again, the focal point is really on this group of journalists that are taking this trip to and they can't fly because the nature of the conflict. They have to drive about 1,000 miles to get to DC to interview the current president. And yeah, so I did enjoy it. And I mean, I'm not a wartime journalist, obviously, but I don't know, it's like anytime also when you got protagonists that are journalists, I kind of, even though I've never done anything like this, I have no intention of it, but it's still, I kind of, I'm in their corner, because it's like, you're part of my little group, even though you're definitely putting your neck on the line way more than I ever have for this line of work. See, what else you guys got for me? I'd rather lose Lower Decks to have gained Star Trek Legacy, the TV show. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And yeah, clarify that for me too, because so like continuity wise, like Lower Decks, like where does that kind of fit in all of that? Because again, I am very much I know William's big on Star Trek. I know you are, Aaron. I know a number of the people in the chat are. It's kind of what I was saying like 2 weeks ago, where it's like I'm kind of at a point where it's like I just like listening to people share their other kind of like nerdy interests, even if it's not something that I personally am in, because I just like hearing people like how they got into stuff and things like that. Star Trek is kind of one of those things, because that's been around since the 60s and it's cultivated, just this massive ongoing fan base and subculture. So I have only seen the only Star Trek movies. Really, I think the only I have seen a couple episodes of some of the shows, but as far as like anything cinematically, the only Star Trek movies I have seen are the ones with Chris Pine as Kirk, and I think those are designated specifically. Those are called the Kelvin timeline. And it's William is like when he talks about like having like multiverse or alternate timelines or alternate takes in place, concurrently. Star Trek actually is another kind of good example of that, because I had gone into the first one just completely fresh, and I knew enough to know about like the Leonard Nimoy was Spock, and Patrick Stewart was Kirk, or was Picard. So I had a enough of familiarity with Star Trek to know that who played who in different iterations, and it was about like people and ships exploring the universe, but again, I was going in very fresh. So but the 09 one, that was a really good example of like what William's talking about, where it's like it laid it out in such a way where for somebody like me, who by Star Trek standards I am very much a normie, and it laid it out in such a way where I was not lost at all. So that's a really good example of that. But yes, going back to what you're saying, Aaron, about Lower Decks and Star Trek Legacy, kind of clarify for me where, like, as far as like the larger franchise, where that fits continuity wise, because Legacy, isn't that one like one of the current ongoing shows? Picard, I think that's another one. And Picard, I heard a lot of good things about. From coworkers and colleagues, things like that. I heard a lot of good things about Picard. So I may do that at some point. I may kind of take the plunge on some Star Trek on my Paramount Plus. I remember like seeing when I was a little kid, like 5 years old, like, visiting like my grandparents' house and pulling, see like reruns of The Next Generation like flash on TV. Just kind of wondering what that was all about, but I never really investigated it. So yeah, Star Trek is one of those things where it's like it's not one of my nerd interests, but I love hearing fans kind of share that with me, because it's I just like hearing people how they got involved in things that that we hold so dear to ourselves. So yes, please, anybody who could, Aaron, anybody else who can kind of illuminate more about Star Trek for me in the comments, please do so. Okay, what else you guys got? Nobody cares about Transformers or G.I. Joe. Okay. I thought the two G.I. Joe movies, I actually thought they weren't bad. I actually did enjoy them quite a lot. And even the Snake Eyes, the Snake Eyes from a couple of years ago, the reboot, which that does definitely add credence to Williams when he says most reboots fail. Well, that one failed, but I did like it. Other than it did have a shaky cam problem. It was like just the shaky cam was just this side of being able to, see, everything despite it. But it's like, why do you do that in a ninja movie? I don't know. But yeah, I did enjoy the G.I. Joe movies that have been out so far. I'm not as big a Transformers guy, as I said. Like Bumblebee, that's pretty much my only one I really had a lot of it was really enamored with. And then He-Man, that was again, that's another 80s thing. I just didn't really take the plunge on. I mean, maybe I played with some of the action figures a little bit, because that was a big thing for me. Action figures were kind of a thing for me when I was a little boy, where they was really kind of my gateway drug to anything I got into. So that's how, to a large extent, I got into your DCs, your Marvels, your things like that. And but yeah, I never really Transformers, G.I. Joe, and He-Man. I didn't quite get as into those. But going back to what I was saying to Aaron's point about Star Trek earlier, that's why I love hearing from people who really are into those things, because it's I like hearing people's journeys with these properties and these IPs that really are very formative for a lot of us. So I think I might suggest that to William. Actually, maybe we should do a whole show of like just share what's if you're a big Star Trek person, like you're a big Trekkie, share how you got started on it. Because again, I'm not, but I like hearing that from people. Or if you're really into Lord of the Rings, same thing. If you're into transport, that might maybe we might like make that some topics for some shows. Now that I think about that, because those are things that I definitely am a normie on, but I like hearing from people who are not normies on those, because it's really find it really fascinating, really, really fun to really hear what got them started in their whole progression with it all. And maybe it is kind of the Snyder Cut campaign that really sort of inspired that in me, because that was something that really spoke to me personally as far as like my fandom of both DC and of Zack Snyder as a filmmaker. So, and I love sharing that whole story with people both who were in the trenches on it and who weren't, like Ruth. It was the first time seeing the 2017 JL today, but she'd seen the Snyder cut. So, but she was not in the trenches on it, but it's kind of like pulling back, opening the book and taking people through that journey. But that's something, again, that I was really into. But for people who have other things that I'm not, but they were into that they were enamored with to a similar degree, it's kind of like being like just kick it back, being the audience on that. It's like, oh, tell me your story with Star Trek or He-Man or Transformers or G.I. Joe or or Lord of the Rings or this or that. I think we need a lot more of that in this world that we're in. It's like people just laying down their arms and just saying, yeah, this is where my journey with everything that formed my geeky interests began. So yeah, sorry, it's a little bit of a monologue there, guys, but yeah, that is just something that's been on my mind for probably the last 2 years or so. Is like, what am I not into? And who is into that, and how can I let them really just share it all with me? My friend Ashley is a massive Harry Potter fan, so I've kind of had that with her a little bit. About a while back, we did a marathon on all the Harry Potter movies because I'd only seen the first 2 up to that point. So that was kind of fun. But that didn't make me a Potter fan. I've never, and it's not like an active hatred of it. It's just that it's just not. It's just not my bag, baby. It's Austin Powers would say. Yes. So sorry for going on a little tangent there, guys. But yeah, anytime I see a question or a comment that sort of takes me down that road, I kind of feel the need to sort of kind of go down that rabbit hole with you guys. Let's see what you got, Larry. I have to say for the record that I called the live action The Last Ronin movie. I didn't expect it to be R-rated, but it's... Oh, you're talking about the new Ninja Turtles one? Okay. Yeah, again, Ninja... And that's an interesting one, too, because Ninja Turtles, that's something I should have really been into as a kid, because it's superheroes and it's martial arts. So it's like, that's me right there. But I don't know. I don't know why I didn't get as into Ninja Turtles until later in life. Because I didn't really see, I didn't really start really getting into the Turtles till probably like my early 20s. And I think maybe part of it is because just the kind of the concept of Ninja Turtles when I'm kind of watching or anything ninja related, I kind of want to, or anything really steeped in martial arts. I'm the kind of guy that's like, I kind of prefer it to be kind of grounded in realism. Not that I'm against anything like wire fu or superpowers or anything of that nature within like a martial arts context, but that's just kind of where I lean the heaviest on it. So maybe I think that might have been what kind of held me back on Ninja Turtles for the longest time. And it's part of why it's like I didn't even know until 10 years or so ago that with Last Ronin that Ninja Turtles began with a much darker original conception. So, but yes, call it Last Ronin. So good, man. So we'll see how this goes. We will see how Last Ronin goes. All right, what else you guys got? First 2 Korn albums are untouchable, especially Life is Peachy. Yeah, Korn I got into big time when I was in high school. They're still one of my favorite bands. I love Korn. I love a lot of the bands I got into that. Because a lot of the ones that William will bring up here for the album of the weeks. There's a lot of by things like AC/DC or Metallica or what else? Nirvana. So a lot of the grunge and a lot of the metal from that era. Yeah, it's definitely. I'm very much into that too. But as far as music tastes I formed in my adolescence, yeah, Korn was definitely part of that, and also it's like Korn and Godsmack and Drowning Pool and Papa Roach and who else? Or Disturbed. Yeah, a lot of my favorite bands. Are really from that era when they really broke out. That's when I really got into them. Okay, what else you guys got? Let's see. Yes, as Ruth mentioned, she put in her application to be an extra, and 28 years later. So, good luck with it, Ruth. We hope you get to be the zombie that like rips someone's throat out. All these jokes we talk about Ruth, being like this closeted serial killer. We might actually get to live that bit of that out in 28 years later if she ends up getting to do that. So, Aaron, everybody's wishing you good luck. Ruth, Aaron is, Spider-Man is. It'd be very tra if you got to be a zombie in 28 years later. It'd be very tra. Is Civil War worth watching? I think it was. I thought it was, but I could tell this is going to be very polarizing. So, and of course, what William's talking about with the way you have to, or at least he would have to, sort of compartmentalize like the plausibility of a scenario like this. So part of it might be sort of predicated on that, but I mean, as far as your ability to enjoy it, but no, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, and I think I would definitely say worth seeing. Kirsten Dunst is pretty good in it too as the lead journalist, and I just realized too going into the Civil War, I thought about this. It's like I think because she's still been working, obviously she's still been doing stuff, movies and TV, but I realized with Civil War, I think this is the first thing. Civil War is the first movie I've seen theatrically with her, I think, since Spider-Man 3. And it wasn't like I was actively avoiding her or anything. It's just that I just how the chips fell. So, yeah. Sometimes you never know where what life is gonna take you as far as like performers with their body of work. Vince says, I have no intention of watching Civil War. The premise does not do anything for me. Okay. Yeah, if it doesn't, then I don't think it's going to grab you. Fourth is very much giving an endorsement there. Yeah, especially I think I know what you're talking about too with like the last half hour or so, because they really do lean in. That's the point where they really do lean into the military Civil War conflict on American soil. That's when it really turns into a big explosive bombastic kind of thing. So. Aaron, no, I'm not. No, yeah, I'm still, but I'm not. I've never been a wartime journalist, is what I'm saying. Let me clarify that. Yeah, I've never been a wartime. So I've never gone into and these are specifically photojournalists who that the movie is focused on. So and they're going to combat zones. I've never done anything like that. I have no plan to do anything. I mean, who knows? I mean, life will take career-wise, will take you all kinds of crazy places. So maybe something like that will happen with me at some point. But I mean, I have so much respect for people who do that, because that is you're putting yourself into a military conflict when you're not part of the when you're not a soldier, and that takes a lot of bravery. So. But yes, even that aside, even the different kinds of journalism that the characters of the movie and I come from, just the fact that journalists as protagonists, that's always like it's like, okay, I'm in your corner there. You guys we're cut from the same cloth, even though you're doing something with more bombs involved than me. Okay, it's called the Kelvin timeline. Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Spider-Man. So that's the J.J. Abrams Star Trek is the Kelvin timeline. That's what it's referred to. I thought it was, but yeah, that should tell you like how much of a normie I am on Star Trek. Okay, what else you guys got? I'd rather lose Lower Decks 2 and Next Generation, Future Generation. Okay. Are you really do you mean this fourth, or are you just screwing with people? Because I can never tell, or I think I could tell, but I always need to clarify. Let's see. Aaron says I had fun on the stream with you too. So yeah, we had so much fun on that Justice League stream, and we did not. If you haven't watched it, go back and check it out, because we were like, as soon as that started, I mean, we were going a mile a minute. I mean, we were just tearing that movie apart. Because with these last few years and with the world's experience of getting the first cinematic Justice League movie out, I mean, that version of it really, it's just such a blight on the legacy of Warner Brothers, the legacy of DC, the legacy of comic book movies. like if I had to, I forgot to say this during the stream itself, so I'll go ahead and say it now. It's like if I had to summarize that version of Justice League in one word, it would be cynical. And what I mean by that is because again, they brought in Joss Whedon, they got cold feet on what Zack Snyder was doing, and so they brought in Joss Whedon to take it from the tone Zack established and basically they give us discount Avengers. Because he had done 2 Avengers movies that have been massive hits, and again, just the cynicism is written all over that, and that's what really just offends me, and just so much about that version of the movie is the cynicism behind it, and I mean obviously the treatment of people during the making of it also plays very heavily into that, but the cynicism of it is just such that, I mean, it's the opposite of everything that those characters in that movie mean. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Justice League, these characters that stand for justice, that stand for for selflessness, that stand for protecting humanity, that stand for inspiring the best in people. And the first movie we ever saw with them theatrically, it's based in cynicism and betrayal and lies and backstabbing and greed and so many negative qualities. And that's why we just cherish the getting Zack Snyder's Justice League out, because that's the version that does embody why these characters that make up the league and that make up the DC universe, why they matter, why they endure, because that version is steeped. Its foundation is in justice, in selflessness, in doing the right thing, in like with the Cyborg's arc, it's like, I'm not broken, I'm not alone. So that's I'd wanted to mention that during the stream today. I forgot to, because we're going so fast on it, but it is a point that I have pondered a lot, is like why that version of Justice League really bothers me so much, and why I became so much of a hashtagger and a campaigner, and eventually in a professional capacity covering the push for the Snyder Cut being released, is because what that version of Justice League represents is so cynical and so manipulative and so sickening and so hollow. And then it was very cathartic to get all that out today on it. But then of course, like I said, the version that ultimately that Zack's name is on, that does actually count, it's based in the actual qualities of these characters that make them endure. And William is back with his
whatever you were talking about. I don't care. I'm just kidding.
Oh, we were talking about Justice League.
More importantly, what's going down William's shoot tonight?
Going down a very, very good fish and shrimp.
Look at that. Loaded fries, a side of loaded fries. Look at those shrimp. They never cheat you with the shrimp. They, some places you go get shrimp and it's all shriveled up. It's all tiny. These are some, you know how big my hands are, right? So that's how big those shrimp are. My hands are kind of huge. I have alligator, lizard, tree climbing hands. But yeah, look at that. Everybody rejoice. Rejoice. Look at that. You can smell it. You guys can all smell this from the internet. So sorry it took so long, but you quality like that takes time.
Well, I was kind of getting out, something I wanted to say during the watch party today, but I didn't get the chance to. Is the thing that really drives home, my feelings on JL 2017. Again, is how cynical the motivation behind that version of the movie is, and how much that cynicism is the antithesis of what those characters mean. And then the version that Zack made that we eventually got out, that's totally the opposite. It embodies what these characters mean and the importance of what makes them endure. So I'd wanted to get that out today during the stream, but we were all going so fast, just picking it apart. It's like I didn't get the chance to. Yeah, it said if I had to summarize Justice League 2017 in one word, it'd be cynical.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, that too.
Hold on here.
Oh, and with the Superman entry into the Superman entry into the final battle, the two versions of it, in Justice League and the ZSGL. I've always wanted to do this, or that have the one from Justice League, and then have the not impressed, and then I want to take that clip from Batman Forever, the Riddler going, "Your entrance was good, his was better. The difference, showmanship."
Yeah, because like I said, that was a pretty good moment when because you realize they built up. They talk about, we don't want to hit Earth yet because the Kryptonians is there. And
Yeah.
you're like, and you see why, because Steppenwolf was vicious.
Oh, he
Steppenwolf
panicked as soon as the Superman comes down, that axe just clangs on his shoulder.
And he just beats the hell out of Steppenwolf.
Oh, he just mops the floor with him.
Yeah, so you understand why they don't want anything they don't want to hit that planet until
why the mother boxes didn't call out until after Superman died.
Yeah, because they pretty much knew Larry Escargot. Okay, that's snails. So we're not talking about that. No, I have not. It sounds expensive, and I'm a broke motherfucker. So,
yeah,
that's like the red but pink box donuts. Somebody got those for my birthday last year. They got me some. I'm like, this is the only time I'm gonna be able to eat those because I do things are expensive, man. I only splurge when it comes to Sisterkins, and they come me a deal. The gumbo looks like a crab try. Yeah, when Sister Kim's makes gumbo, no shit, dude. It literally looks like a sea monster coming out of a lot of food. And that gumbo they give you to. I think I've shown it on here. It's like a small containers like thing, but it's not. It's a lot. It's deceptively small. Once you start eating it, because I got their gumbo and I'm like, oh, this looks great, but I'm gonna tear this up. Just 2 seconds, I'll be gone. I'll still be hungry. Oh no, I made it halfway through the gumbo and I'm like, I made a mistake in going out and getting more food. This is going to be plenty. They make good food, dude. I mean, literally, they make great food. They make filling food. I like I said, every time I get a chance to show you guys what kind of food they are, because like I said, I wish they were a national chain,
By the way, Aaron, she sent me, I'm going to pull this tweet up. Because she mentioned a little bit about Lower Decks and some of the other Star Trek show like Legacy, and I asked kind of for like the chronology of the whole of the franchise, and she went ahead and provided this for me. So pull this up here. Okay, every Star Trek show, the timeline. So goes from Enterprise, Strange New Worlds, original series, New Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Lower Decks, Picard, Legacy, Prodigy, Discovery. They go into the future and to be continued from there. Okay, thank you very much, Aaron, for laying that out, because I was definitely and I take it that Enterprise and Strange, those are prequel shows, right?
Yeah, Enterprise takes place before the founding of the Federation. There's a Starfleet, but there's no Federation yet, and it was supposed to lead into the Romulan War, and then the last things you're supposed to see is the forming of the Federation. They fucked it up. And I hope with this new. With these new people who do Star Trek, they find a way to tell that story the way it was supposed to be told. Because, like I said, once you're introduced into Star Trek, at Picard is breathing proof that you're in. And if if you endear yourself, like I said, 7 of 9, whose character arc originally that
Voyager is
one of my favorites.
Who was that again? That was
Jerry Ryan.
Yeah, because I know her mainly as Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat Legacy. So.
Fucking horrible movie. But anyway,
no, it wasn't a movie. It was the web series.
Yeah, which one was the movie that was just awful?
That was Annihilation.
Annihilation. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, I thought her character arc had gone as far as it could go, and then when you see her in Picard, she takes it to a level that I never expected. And by the time Picard season 3 is over and she's sitting in that captain's chair, it felt right. That show. Picard season 3, especially that last episode, everything felt right. And that's where I want to see them go. I don't need to see an academy. I don't want to see a Starfleet Academy. I don't want that. I don't need that.
Now,
listen, Star Trek to me is about the crews of the prospective ships. It's about the voyage. It's about the exploration, primarily the Enterprise. But Voyager, to me, top to bottom, years 1 to 7, is the best Star Trek show so far. I got to give Strange New Worlds it's time to wrap up. But as far as that's why when Picard ended, and one of the last things you see is them a spoiler alert, because I'm going to spoil it for you guys if you haven't watched. Here, we'll do this. If you haven't watched Picard, even though we did spoilers shows of it, but I'm gonna do this. If you, I hear your dog chewing on the screen.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
Murphy, what are you doing over there?
But when people were like, "Well, the Titan, they should have never renamed it. They should have just did a show in the Titan and kept the name." I'm like, no. Star Trek, for the most part, is about the crew of the Enterprise. It's about the crew of the Enterprise, whether it be Kirk, whether it be Picard, Riker, Spock. It's for the most part about the crew of the. You have some shows, DS9, these have done well, but the heart of Star Trek for me is the crew of the Enterprise. And to see this group of people and that ship go from what they were and become the Enterprise and its crew was something special, because you never got to see that before. Every time you got to see the Enterprise, it was already there. When you see the original series, the ship's already there. It's already the Enterprise. When you see the motion picture, it's still the same ship. Yeah, it becomes something else, but it's still the Enterprise that you already know. You see it as the Enterprise. There's no evolution. When you see Next Generation, Enterprise D, it's there. Enterprise E, it's already there. The crew's already there. And then you just go on about your way. You don't see a ship become something else. The Enterprise was a standard. It's a legend that they rose to. And I really, yeah, exactly. When I saw that, I know when we were talking with Brian, who was doing the shows with us, everybody teared up when they resurrected the D. And I can understand that. The D is a big part of my Star Trek fandom too. But to be there after all these years of watching Star Trek and to see a ship become the Enterprise, to go from something else, not the Yorktown, we just renamed the Yorktown and it's the Enterprise not the one you blew up, but to see the crew evolve and become a crew worthy of sitting in that chair and to see that ship become the hero ship, I thought that was the most special moment in Star Trek in a long time. So I would like to see, especially with Q, the way they gave you that post-credit scene with Q. I need to see that. And that show, I think, could do really well because it has everything. It has something for every Star Trek generation, even old Trek fan. Old Trek fan could get in the boat with us. You know how hard old Trek fan is to live with. Picard season 3 had something for every level of Star Trek fan. So I think they should go along with doing that. Section 31 looks good. I think it'll do well, but I need to see another show about the Enterprise.
Well, now, Aaron, one thing I do need to clarify, because it's still, which is very helpful that you provided here the timeline of all the Star Trek shows, but something neither you nor William have clarified for me, which I do need some clarification on, is where does Galaxy Quest fit in all of this?
All right, dude, I'm just not in the mood for blasphemy today, and there's two things. When we're talking Star Trek, there are two things you don't use: Galaxy Quest and fucking Orville. If you enjoyed those things, more power to you. But do not pollute a Trek discussion with those things.
William, there was the poll that it's listed as the 7th best Star Trek movie. That wasn't me voting in that. So
you know who did that, Trek? You know who did that? Old Trek fan. That's what old Trek fan does. He does these polls now, and they do that stuff. And listen, if you like Orville and Galaxy Quest, all that, that's fine. But my problem is they wanted to use it as a baseball bat against any new Trek that they didn't like. They got a baseball bat in one hand and they got the Gene Roddenberry Bible in the other, and that's not fun. Stop using what you like as a weapon to try to fuck with somebody. Go love Orville. Go love Galaxy Quest. I don't, but that's fine. You know what? You don't need to use it to be like, this is real Trek. No, it's not. If it don't say Star Trek on it, it's not Star Trek. I'm not a scholar when it comes to English, but I think I can figure that out. You know what? If this X-Men book, if this is an X-Men Civil War book, right? It's not Superman. If it don't say Superman on it or have Superman on the cover, it's not Superman.
Okay, so
we want it to be that way.
Guys, you want to do a charity stream torturing William with Galaxy Quest? Because we can do that.
We can do it, but the money better be there. Yeah. Mentioning that shit.
No. Hey, 2 can play at this game, man.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm willing to do it. Because I will fuck that show up. You will not be enjoying the movie.
I think you're going to spark their interest here.
Do it, yeah. Hey, listen, I'll watch it. I'm not. Listen, I am mission focused. 15,000 is 15,000. I've offered the most ridiculous things to get to certain numbers. Enduring Orville, it's like you said, it's not a bad show necessarily, but it's not Star Trek. That's the thing. It's not Star Trek. No matter how much old Trek fan wants to make it Star Trek, it's not. And it drives old Trek fan like, I can't believe the Orville's not going to get this. Why? It was on network TV. Seth MacFarlane did it. It was one of his passion projects. He's a Star Trek fan. But like I said, when
blame the raid.
Like I said, my problem with Orville and any of these Star Trek spoofs or spinoffs is people just can't enjoy it, and but they got to roll it up like a newspaper and come after you like a dog that shit on something. Look, this is more Star Trek than Star Trek. I'm like, no, by definition, that is impossible. That is impossible for something to be more than it is not. Stop it. Anyway.
Ruth also had where do you have this one here? I thought I'd pull up. You should say, yeah, Murphy Gang on the stream. If you guys want, because I did say I would come on camera for Rebel Moon 2. If you want, I could bring Murphy on camera. Yeah. You can see my dog making the noise in the background.
And when Brad comes, because I've actually seen Brad briefly off camera.
Yeah.
The first thing you're going to do is going to be like, what? Well, why did it take? I'm telling you right now, he looks exact. That's him. He just sits this way, and he's got a headset on, and it's dark, and there's a dog with a chew toy. That's the only thing you guys are going to be like, okay, why? Because you read the way Brad hides from him. Or you think he's got he looks like Tyrion Lannister with his nose all cut off and stuff like that. And now what I think he's really afraid of is once he aims the camera down, like for right here and here, you're going to see the ribs, and you're going to see a scrawny guy. That's not necessarily where Brad has built himself up to be, Mr. Kung Fu. Panda, he's probably a little, a little scrawny dude that I could probably take, but
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right, Spider-Man. I do have a mohawk now.
That'd be hilarious. And then Aaron's gonna be like, I can take him. Aaron, you got to come on camera too. Everybody's got to come on camera, man. If the human sleeve stack can come on camera for you guys every day, then no one looks worse than me.
Yeah, we are going to be doing this Friday, aren't we?
Yeah. I got it. There's going to be some other special things that may be happening later during the week. That just be flexible, guys. That's all I got. That's all I can tell you right now.
Okay. And you were on, of course, you were on the Vodka stream last night. Because Film Junkie was kind of sharing, because he got to see it 2 nights ago. So, and he was pretty positive about it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. He really played up obviously the last 45 minutes, which. That was the impression I very much gotten from the trailer, is that because as Zach has described it, movie 1 is the recruitment, movie 2 is the war movie, and this one again it feels like it's going to be really hitting the ground running.
Time out real quick.
Yep.
All right, guys. Totally off topic because I had to do some house cleaning today when it came to our comments. You're watching right now. You know who you are, and I've been very flexible as far as trying to carry on a conversation. But when you post something in the chat and you make it so that we can't respond, I've already told you what we're going to do with that. I am not a banning type of guy. I had a guy call me a retard last night. I only timed them out, and we continued the conversation. But if you're not coming to the chat and the post and the post show comments to actually add, I don't have to agree with you. We do not have to look at the village sounds I deal with in the chat right now. We do not have to agree. But if you're not coming to carry on a productive conversation, I don't need the viewers that much. And that goes for anybody. All right. I do not make my living off of YouTube. I am not listen, if you're coming into our environment to carry on a productive conversation and bring a point of view, I'm all there for it. We don't have to agree. But when you come and you take snipes and you do stupid stuff and then you set the thing so that nobody can respond, then that tells me you're just showboating and then you timestamp so that you can go back to whatever your cult, whatever it is that you person that agrees with you and everything and point out my channel, whatever it is that you're doing, that you're not, I'm just going to delete it. All right. And I don't like doing that because they make me sound like he just doesn't want to entertain other points of view. No. But like I said, a conversation takes 2 people, not somebody posting some bullshit and then running. So I had to clean up some of our stuff this morning. And because I responded, I wasn't going to delete it. I was like, okay, this is a fair sum. Then I hit the thing, oh, this person does not allow. I'm like, well, then what the fuck are you doing here? I was pissed. I typed up a good response. I was keep the conversation going. This person does not want to conversate. So that's where we're at. But yeah, you know where you are.
But yeah, thank you very much, Aaron, for laying out the timeline of all Star Trek the shows here. The only thing I would ask to this, other than the other question, is like so these are all the shows. Where what's the chronology as far as like all the Star Trek movies? How do they kind of fit into this? That's the only thing I would kind of.
Okay, so Star Trek 1.
By the way, before you go any further, I do need to correct the fourth here. Actually, it's just I just had the word raid over and over tattooed all over my body, every square inch.
It's a neck tattoo. Star Trek the motion picture takes place after the original series TOS, and before Star Trek 1, 2, 3, and 4 take place before the Next Generation. The next generation takes place 87 years later after Kirk's Enterprise. Okay. All right, Star Trek 5 and 6 take place after. They take place, while the Next Generation is on air, but still in their timeline. Even Worf is actually in Star Trek 6. His great grandfather's in Star Trek 6. So it's a connection there. Star Trek Generations, which was a horrid movie. It takes place during the same timeline as the Next Generation after the Next Generation went off the air. So it came out. Next Generation ended in 1994. The two Star Trek movies came out afterwards, and that was Star Trek Generations and then First Contact, which is arguably the best one after Wrath of Khan. Now, during that time, two other shows premiered. You had 1992. You had Deep Space Nine, and then you had Voyager. Those ran concurrently. One of them ending in 1999 and the other one ending in 2001. In that time, the movies Insurrection happened in 1999, and then you had Nemesis in 2002, which happened in between, which happened after those movies. Those shows are both ended, but right after Enterprise, which takes place before everything, it premiered in September 2001. So you had movies running alongside those all that entire time.
And then the Kelvin, the new ones, the JJ, as a clarify to me, the Kelvin timeline.
Kelvin timeline takes place before everything.
Yeah, and that's just kind of like parallel to because it's an alternate
universe. That's an alternate universe. Once the Romulan ship comes back and interferes with the prime timeline, it creates the Kelvin timeline. Okay. So it's an alternate timeline.
Okay, so thanks for clarifying that, Aaron and William. So I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about Star Trek now than I was before. I still got
happy to do
quite a ways to go though.
All right, we are still at 11,350. Can we get to 12 grand tonight?
Yeah, come on, guys.
Share it while you're on the stream.
Yes, please do, because that is even sharing is massively helpful. Just getting the word out on it. And Dork Knight has one from here. I'll talk about. Did you get to see it? Did you get to see it early, man?
Yeah, Dork Knight was there. Dork Knight was in a.
Oh, okay. You got to see the LA premiere. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's. I mean,
that's one thing. Listen, I like Vegas and all. I love California. I love LA. I live in LA, and all the stuff with the Q&As happens in LA because that's where the studios are. So I don't ever get Q&As. I get the movies, but I don't.
Yeah. You lucked out when Zach came a couple months ago, so that was a little bit of an exception there. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's stuff you can't reveal. But yeah, I mean, what can you tell us about Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver? That will not be a spoiler between now and next week. Please let us know. Wednesday. Yes, of course. Yeah, you and Ray have seen it before I do.
Dude, take a road trip, man. Come on. You're invited to all of this, I invited you to the Netflix thing.
Well, you invited me like 3 days before it happened. So
okay, and I invited you as soon as I heard about it. Remember, as soon as I could,
which was 3 days before it happened. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could take a flight from where you live to here would have been. I was willing to fly you out too. So
yeah, I gotta get. I've never been to just in general. I've never been to Vegas. I gotta get out there at some point.
I mean, you would have literally had me as your tour guide.
Yeah,
I would have literally had a car because they paid for the transportation. So I would have literally had a car there for you.
You had one of those guys with the sign saying like "Tra" or something. No, that's how I would have known it was for me.
So you would have literally gone from you would have been able to call your own Uber and put it. You would have had the code. and the code would have taken you right to us. I mean, you wouldn't have had to do anything. And as soon as you were done and ready for your flight, it was a 12-hour one, so you would have been able to get right back on your flight. And like I said, the flight, I looked at the flights to where your I think your general area would have been that time of the week, middle of the week, because all the Super Bowl traffic had already happened. The prices weren't going to jump till the next day, so I could have got you in and out like dirt cheap. I was willing to do it. But I know how bad you wanted to meet him, and
well, we'll get that. We'll do that. As Bruce Wayne says in The Flash, not this time, but maybe next time.
Okay, I just
God, Dorka Knight has one here. Jimmy is going to be. Oh, I get the sense from that he's really that he. I mean, I loved him a lot. I mean, I could tell there's definitely more of him in the extended cut of part 1, but yeah, I could tell that he's really going to be a big focal point in Scargiver, and probably going to be a really big breakout character. He's going to have the antlers on, blasting lasers at the Imperium, so can't wait for that.
Thank you guys who just reposted Aaron DC movie page for who guys just reposted our link for the Tiltify link. Thank you, because that like I said, that helps us out a lot. And like I said, I got a feeling that we if we're gonna break 15 grand, it's gonna be next week. Got a good feeling.
Aaron, you're welcome. Brad, William, and I are more than happy to help you in your Star Trek journey. Yeah, like because I was while you stepped away, I was talking about I'm kind of at a point in my life where it's like I like just kind of sitting back and like hearing from people like share like geeky things they're into that I'm not. Just because I just like hearing people's journeys about and Star Trek is something that I would definitely be considered a normie on. But again, I know like William, Aaron, a number of other people in the chat, big Trekkies, so it's like that's something I would I like doing.
I grew up with it. The old man loved it, and we watched it with him, and it was just something, it's just part of my heritage almost, because like I said, the old man had it from day one, and then I just inherited it.
When did it start? It started in like
1966.
66, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 58 years old. It's pretty, and it's got the staying power. And like I said, what I found so offensive about old Trek fan is that the whole heart of Star Trek was inclusion and exception of all types of ideas. And they confined everything to the Gene Roddenberry Bible, which, by the way, Gene Roddenberry wasn't even for that. He was all for. He knew what he created had to evolve outside of his hands. That's why when he handed it over to Berman and Braga, and everybody, old Trek fan, hated them till they loved him. And it's funny because I remember when Star Trek: The Next Generation came out, they were literally protesting and sending letter campaigns. How could you do this? Kirk is the only captain of the Enterprise. They loved. By the time Next Generation was over, they loved the next. I mean, they loved it. And then now people are like, well, how come Trek can't be like the Next Generation? I'm like, wait a minute. Weren't you the same diaper rash words that were protesting that one? It's like when you give people time, it's like with any fandom. Once you let something in, and you're not trying to like be this pack mentality. Well, my other wolves aren't eating this, so I'm not going to try it. Once you like in a room by yourself and you're like, let me push play on this, and that's what happened with like Man of Steel and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah,
once you got outside of the bullshit and actually sat down and went like, there's nobody here. There's nobody going to say anything that if they see me watching this, my tribe isn't around right now. Let's push play. And then you sit, you're like, wow, this wasn't half bad. And then it grows. That's what happened with Star Trek. Most of these fandoms, once you get rid of the tribes and the packs and you just sit down and it's you and the product, and that's what I like about streaming. That's what I like about streaming. For all of its detriment, people think it's going to, ruin entertainment, all that. It puts the IP and the product right into your laps. And, you don't have to make that social investment. And like, I'm going to go see, oh, we're going to go see that. You're stupid. You're not. No. All you got to do is you pick up that magic wand I created, and, it looks different depending on where I'm at, but it's mine. I copyrighted it. You not tried it. I call it the remote control. I trademarked it. But once you hit play, it becomes a different world. That's what I think that's happened with Star Trek. I think that's going to happen with the Star Trek people don't like today. I think that's going to happen with a lot of these comic book movies, things like that. When you're away from your tribe and you're not bouncing the same dumb shit off of each other's hard skulls, and it's just you and the entertainment, a lot of things change. So
yeah, that's true.
That's why I like streaming.
That is true. Rhea says getting into and out of LA. Yeah, because I've only been to LA once. That was when I was a little kid when we were when my dad was PCSing, we were the family from Arizona to Hawaii, so we took the flight from LA. We spent a few days there and flew from LA to Honolulu. But yeah, I hear the traffic in LA is definitely a bitch.
Yeah, you got to leave. You got to leave early. It's a lot. 405. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's like I said. It's.
In fact, that's actually something. It's addressed somewhat, but in the movie Speed, when that has the where they had the bomb is on the bus, but it's like that. That's if you were to nitpick anything about that, it's like the idea that the bus has to go 50 miles an hour in LA traffic is like.
Oh, when they were chasing OJ, look how slow they had to go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a low speed chase because A, they didn't know what they wanted to do, and B, you ain't going that fast on that freeway. With all those, even with the cops behind you, there are still people that wouldn't get the hell out of the way. I remember watching that. That was Friday traffic. Sorry, you picked the wrong day to go on a police car chase because your ass ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But
there were people like, and they, I don't know if this actually happened, but people versus OJ. I mean, there were people who were driving on that same side of the road that were just like they would speed up and say, "Oh, that's OJ! Like, you gotta get a picture," kind of thing.
And it was slow enough to where people got signs, and you had time to get signs and get on the overpass. That's how jammed up the traffic was that day. So, yeah. Rest in peace, OJ.
And
okay.
I was in LA once. Me and my friend Albuquerque took hours to get from Anaheim to Santa Monica.
Oh yeah, and you use the Santa Monica. Yeah, yeah. It's not a place. That's why a lot of people live and work in the suburbs of LA. That's why we lived in San Bernardino because of traffic. My dad worked in LA, but we lived in San Bernardino. He was just willing because it was easier to get from San Bernardino to LA than to get from anywhere inside of LA to downtown LA or where he worked for. He worked for the Northrop Corporation. So all right. So we're gonna hit these topics up. Let's see. What do I want to hit? We've already hit the top two. Let's bring up the Last Ronin. All right. So most of you in this chat have not read Last Ronin. I want you to. If you've ever read a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story and you haven't read this one, you really want to read this one. This is some of the artwork from it, some of the covers. When it came out, it sold out. I mean, it was like a lot of printings came out. You can get it in a trade paperback. I actually ordered the trade paperback, but it wouldn't be here in time today because I ordered like a bunch of them. Because I get a lot of people, I get a lot of people that are into turtles, but they haven't read this. It is the deepest and I think most violent of the turtle stories that have been written. I'll go ahead and read you the premise, but I'm not going to read you the plot because I think everybody should have a chance to read this. So, all right. In the future, New York City is ruled by Haruko Hirohito, grandson of the Shredder and son of Karai. I probably pronounced that right because I always do. Running the city with meticulous fascism and totalitarianism, a lone turtle haunted by hallucinations of his deceased brothers works to end Hirohito, Hiroto. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Japanese emperor. No, Hiroto. Whom he blames for his brother's death. See, I don't want to tell you that. I'm not even going to tell you. And please, in the chat, don't spoil which particular turtle it is. He traverses through the now heavily guarded New York City, fighting against synthetic ninjas dubbed as Sinjas on his way to the Foot Clan headquarters. He crashes out of the building, and this is the beginning. This is issue 1. The whole thing is about this being years into the future. And there's only one of them left. I don't like I said, please don't if you've already in the chat, if you've already read it, don't say who it is, which turtle it is, because that's part of the actual fabric of the story. Let me get to the end so I make sure that you are not okay. I don't want to answer that. And there's a reason why. I think so. The reason why I'm going to say so, because of the premise of it, where the story, the setting is at. That's the word I want to use for I think the violence actually means more in the Last Ronin because of where things are, where the city is. So I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna go say yeah. And once again, don't say who the name is, because like I said, for those of you who will watch
Now back.
who will watch this later and are not familiar with the story, there are certain elements in the story that I really want you to find out on your own, because who it is, obviously there's a limited amount of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and each one of them has their own persona, So when you find out which one it is, it that shapes the story. The finality to this story was excellent. The title, it is what the title implies. If you liked Logan, to me, this is the closest you're going to get to a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Logan. Different goals. Obviously, Logan has a different goal in Logan, and the Turtle, this Last Ronin, has a different goal here. And you just get this sense that once he completes his mission, that this is the end. It's almost like the Dark Knight. It's almost like the Dark Knight in a way. So yeah, I loved it. I like I said, if you've read Turtles and you have not read this, you should pick it up immediately. You can get it on Amazon. You can get the trade paperback now. It's on Amazon. There's a hardcover out there now. I've had these issues. I've sold these issues out. I've sold their second and third printings out. I've sold the books out. I want to get them back in now, especially now with them announcing the movie, the R-rated movie. I think that's going to do wonders, because, like I said, there is a certain sect of Turtle fans that came up in between what Eastman and Laird meant for you to see, and once again they had to sanitize it for kids. You know how I feel about that shit, but fine. Fine. But this, it never really affected the way they did the comics. But most of the people who have come on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have not picked up the comics. So Eastman and Laird, Kevin Eastman, they never changed their tone for the most part in the comic books. They never went this violent, in my opinion, the way this is, So you got a lot of people who come into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles who, if they were to pick up Ronin, obviously the turtle mythos is going to be recognizable to them. There are certain characters that are much older in here that you're going to recognize, but what's missing if they come on to this now, especially with the movie introducing them, that the tone is going to be something that is unlike, none of this go ninja go shit with
oh, come on. That's one of the best moments in the Turtles movies.
But you might have a Batfleck situation, or a situation to where my ninjas are not doing this or not like this. Oh no, go read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first 50. Go read it. What they capitalized on the cartoon and the toys and all this other stuff, which is fine. But most of these guys that bought a toy, watched a cartoon, watched those movies, it's like the Mask. It's like the Crow. They never picked up the source material. They kept the source material consistent. They upped the game here with the storytellers. Upped the game here with this one. The Last Ronin. I love this story. Like I said, if you're my curiosity is, okay, when this movie comes out, like I said, that spongy stuff that you saw from the 90s, and even to a certain extent Mutant Mayhem, because Mutant Mayhem is actually a pretty good movie. There's a difference. Mutant Mayhem is a fun movie, by the way. The Last Ronin is not fun. All that, the joking and all that is not here in this. So even up to recently, they're making successful turtle stuff that is different than the source material. And now here we come with something that, in my opinion, not only resembles the source material, but it ups the game. I love this story. So like I said, my favorite Ninja Turtle story. I think you should, like I said, read it, but be prepared. This is, if you, like I said, if you come into the Turtles from those other formats, understand that this is a little bit different and it's actually more consistent with the original IP than anything you might have seen. So that's why that was one of my recommendations. Not only because it's it's the best Ninja Turtle story told, but with the announcement of Paramount doing the R-rated version of the movie, which by the way is appropriate. That is the appropriate way you should be going. You should be going TMA or you should be going R with this.
Spider, when you pull this up, trivia question, William, what is the official / unofficial origin of the mutant Jin ooze and the original TMNT?
Oh fuck! Don't make me pull it out. I don't remember. I think they were on. What issue were they on when I started connecting it? I should know this too, but it's. I don't know. What was it, Spidey? Because I know they've retconned. Do I have my number 1 here? No, I took my number 1 home. Because I got it signed by Kevin Eastman. At the same Comic-Con I met Stan Lee at that same day.
Yeah,
I was guarding his table, so he
oh yeah, you talked about that being kind of like the bouncer for the line of adoring fans.
Yeah, and he stayed and talked with us. Let's see what I thought it was something that was in the sewers. That's all I really ever. Because I know there was a story about it too, but by the time I was into it, I was already. Give me the answer. Give us the answer. I deleted my comment. Oh,
I think that was spoilers about Last Ronin.
Okay, yeah. Oh, about the.
William, it's the chemical that blinded Matt Murdock before it spilled in the sewer.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah, which by the way, anybody who's because not familiar, the turtles, the whole mythos of the Ninja Turtles is significantly influenced by Daredevil.
Yeah, the size and everything. Yeah, weren't we talking about this the other day, Spidey? Yeah, and I remember that because that was his inspiration. Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot of that.
I mean, the Foot Clan is based on the hand. His mentor, the turtle's mentor Splinter is based on Stick.
Yeah.
So there's a marked Daredevil influence on Ninja Turtles.
I forgot. I mean, I don't know why that we weren't. Was it you? I was talking about that yesterday, Spidey.
I think it might have been. I think it might have been you and Spidey.
I gave the answer. Okay. Wow, I can't even believe that doesn't pop to my head anymore. But it's been a long time since I read anything. The foot. Yeah, the foot.
He says a few months ago we discussed it.
Wow, it seems like yesterday we were talking about it. That's wow. Yeah, there you go. But it was done in black and white, which allowed them to do a lot of violent stuff back then.
Ruth asked, "Can we listen?" Well, we can, but we'll probably get pulled down if we do. So,
nah, we don't need to. I even if I wasn't going to get pulled down, I probably don't want to. Kind of lame. Vanilla Ice, his claim to fame. That and under pressure.
Droga. Droga's the one here. The Foot Clan is led by Dan Schneider. Yeah, that guy is in so much hot water right now over that Nickelodeon documentary. That guy apparently was kind of an asshole to people behind the scenes and led the young Nickelodeon cast on all that and all those shows.
I guess you hate people.
Oh no, guys! There's 8 million comments for me to look at here. Yeah, Aaron's looking at that. Oh, come on, yeah. By the way, Droga, were you in the chat a few nights ago where we were talking about Mad Max and I mentioned the original Mad Max? They dubbed that because the American distributor thought that the Australian accents of everybody was going to be too tough for Americans to make out what they were saying or something, so they dubbed it. And Aaron was like, "Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me!" It's like, yeah, they did that.
Let's see. Did Frank Miller write the narrative? I highly doubt that he wrote. But see, that's the thing, though. Is a lot of that stuff that people know the Turtles for.
It's very Daredevil influenced. Yeah.
Well, that and like I said, the Last Ronin is like literally, it's almost Dark Knight-ish if you want to
Dark Knight Returns. Yeah. No, yeah. You can definitely sense that.
Turtle power. Oh my god. Yeah, there's no turtle power in Last Ronin. All right, we are still at 11,350 in our charity. Let me refresh. See where we're at.
Oh, and actually, Droga, can we play this? Because he sent me the other night. I think this might be a fan film or something. It's a TMNT Last Ronin animation about a year ago. So he sent that to me and asked, can we go ahead and play it? It's only like 4.5 minutes long.
Is it on YouTube already?
Yeah, it is.
Has it got any music in it?
I haven't watched it, so I couldn't tell you.
We need to find out if it has any music in it.
Okay.
If we played it, it would have to be muted.
Okay,
If
so
it
let me go.
If it has music, they'll shoot us right down.
Okay, okay, Droga, let me go ahead and watch. Or does that have music in it, Droga? Any source? Let me go ahead and watch it, and then I'll talk to William, and if it we'll see. Well, I guess we might not be able to play it tonight. We'll try to play it tomorrow if we look it over and make sure we're not going to get struck down in the middle of the stream.
2 years ago, and yeah, I think we're going to have some issues. Let's see.
He says it doesn't have music.
It doesn't have music?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and play it.
All right, we're gonna go and play it, man. That's it. It's only 4 minutes 43 seconds long. So, Forth says when I fight Brad, tell me you must have studied these. Okay. No, I didn't. I didn't even do that. I just studied the Cliff Notes version. Yeah, I cheated my way to all the different high ranks I hold. Okay, here we go. So this is the fan film TMNT Last Ronin animation. Okay, it's got almost 7 million views. So it looks like it's pretty popular. Got put up about a year ago. So here we go. Oh, this looks pretty good already. Is this a fan film or is this professional?
Is it muted?
Say again?
Did you mute it?
Yeah, I am.
No, did you mute the? I'm not getting any sound.
Did I mute the video? No. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Sorry. This happens every time I do this. I got to make sure I got to click the little box.
There's no music, then we don't have to.
And I got to make sure I click the little box that says play the sound too. So you'll go back and try that again. Okay. Yeah, I got to click the share audio thing there. Forgot to do that. All right, here we go again. All right. There we go.
I knew this was a suicide mission. You need to end this. On my terms. For my family. For honor. You don't gotta do this. Quiet! No more talking. We were always so different. So much alike. I miss my brothers. So much. And I miss my father. More than anything else. I wanted to make him proud. end. Too little, too late. Story of my life. I'm sorry, Father. I failed. Please forgive me. Focus.
You guys don't wake him up soon? I'm eating the last bagel.
Hey, Sleeping Beauty. Wake up. We got things to do.
Well, that was dark.
That darkness is consistent with the actual comic.
Yeah, I get that, but I wasn't expecting like Harakiri to be involved in this.
Yeah, that was the Liberty.
Whoever did this, though, they did a really awesome job. The animation's pretty.
I don't want to
solid.
comment on that because the actual comment I give would spoil comic, but
Yeah, the only thing that was a little bit wonky for me was that rat. It was a little bit rubbery, but otherwise, this 3D animation was pretty strong.
very cool. Everybody in here is taking swipes at Michael Bay. You guys made billions per Hollywood.
I was gonna do Harakiri through a shell. Yeah.
That sword he has would go through that shell, no problem.
Yeah, it would.
No problem. 988. Jeez.
Okay, so yeah, you would think that would be pretty tonally consistent with what Last Ronin would do.
Yeah, with some differences, obviously, but like I said, I don't want to tell you what those differences are because of the fact that that's literally the story. So,
okay. That's pretty good. Thanks for sharing that with us, Droga.
All right, I was gonna do Dead Boy Detectives, but I fucked up. I thought Dead Boy Detectives was already on Netflix.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta pull this up because again, the animation was all around pretty fantastic. Other than that rat was a little bit off, and Spider-Man says, "Justice Rat, Step and Mouse." So yeah, there you go. Okay, but back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm not doing Dead Boy Detectives tonight. I was gonna do it because I thought I was gonna be reviewing the first 2 episodes, and I'm not. It doesn't come out to the 25th, so I put it in the thumbnail, but I don't want to do it until because when I do it, I want to have the show with me to line up the consistencies, like I did when I did Sandman. I even brought out, like I said, I even had the new DC Black Label when Dead Boy Detectives was. I'll do it real quick. When Dead Boy Detectives came out, it was part of the Vertigo line. It came in Sandman 25, Season of the Mist. It's about these two kids that are killed, but instead of going into the afterlife, they decide to be detectives. Hence, the title is as it says. And part of the over time, part of the thing is that they never solved. They never got to solve their own deaths. Things like that. So that was one of the things that compelled them. But I want to have the show as a backdrop when I review it. So we're going to hold off on this thumbnail for right now. All right. So I'm going to move into unless somebody wants to talk Dead Boy Detectives, but I think a lot of you, this will be your introduction to them. I think it would be a lot easier for me to introduce it to you with the movie, because I from what I can tell from those trailers we showed, the trailer, the show looks very consistent to what the book was. William, have you ever thought of doing the comic talk as recorded videos? I'd be more than willing to do the edits. Maybe doing recorded stuff because I got a bunch of stuff that I've started. I just don't get the time to finish it. Even with those interviews I did for Pooh Blood and Honey, those took forever. Those were pre-recorded. It took forever to get those, get the time and all that to do it. So the live stuff, you just flip the switch, you go. But yeah, it would probably be better if we wanted to do the comic. But here's the thing about that one: it wouldn't have mattered tonight, simply because only reason I put it on there is because I thought the episode that came out this week. I don't know why I thought it came out this week. But it comes out on the 25th. So when it comes out on the 25th, we're going to go into depth with it. But a lot of it is, to me, these guys are solving crimes to cope with the fact of how they were killed and the fact that they were no longer a part of the living. And that's what a lot of the Sandman characters are. They often are going through things to cope with their current condition or place in reality. Even the Sandman himself, the first 8 issues, the Sandman is coming into his own and where his relevancy as Dream, and especially after being gone for 75 years and seeing how his absence has affected the world. So, and in Death, same thing. All these abstracts are trying to figure out their place in our psyche, in our world. And Dead Boy Detectives is no different. Sandman 25 is where they made their first appearance. They have a 12-issue miniseries. They have a whole bunch of other stuff that's come out associated with them. And then, like I said, just recently, the Sandman universe, which everybody should be reading right now. It's part of that one. They're on, I think this is issue number 5. They come out with variant covers, but this is actually a pretty good selling title. If you missed the boat on Vertigo, it doesn't matter. They're in trade paperbacks, and a lot of the stuff that's happening in Black Label that's not mainline comics is covering the same vibe that Vertigo did. But Vertigo was a special imprint for a special time. Anybody who knows Neil Gaiman, that's where he cut his teeth. That's where he became the Neil Gaiman that a lot of us know and love. So we'll go into more detail because like I said, especially for those of you who have not jumped into the IP yet, most of you may jump into it via this Netflix show because we might do a watch party on it. And then I'll be able to take that and take the book because I think this is going to be one of those things, just like the Sandman. For the most part, the Sandman had the same vibe as the actual comic did. And that's because Neil Gaiman is an advisor on these things. He's sitting right there, shotgun, letting people know, hey, this is the way this went, and he okayed a lot of that. So it shows. So, all right, let's hit the chat again, and then we'll hit body count.
Okay, what you guys got for us here? Fort says, I had a Chinese box turtle. His undershell was his hardest top. Yeah, but I mean, a sword will cut through that. So,
yeah.
Let's see what we got. How's it going, Mr. Andre? Just streamed with him last night, guys. So, if you hadn't seen that, please go back and check that out. We had a pretty good conversation about a bunch of things. Let's see what else you guys got for us.
Yeah. When Enoch found out about Batman, Superman in prison, in the Black Series, it was Batman, Superman Red and Blue. It wasn't even a DC Black Label. He lost his mind over that because there's some things that happen that were implied or that he thought were implied that happens to Superman in prison that kind of happened to guys in prison, and just leave it there.
Yeah, Vertigo Swamp Thing. Oh yes, it was amazing.
Swamp Thing, Jonah Hex, House of Dreams, House of Magic, Book of Fairies, Sandman.
Oh. And listen, that Jonah Hex movie with Josh Brolin was just out of this world. It was just that's what we go to comic movies for. Was what they did with Jonah Hex.
Yeah, and Jonah Hex had a lot of characters that involved in him.
That movie is pretty bad.
But you'll probably see a Jonah Hex in there. Constantine. There's the Dead Boy Detectives. I mean, the whole Vertigo world was just something else, man.
New About Rev says, William, hey, you're a horror fan. I just watched Sleepwalkers the other day. It's still good to me. I want to know what you think of it.
I love Sleepwalkers. Yeah, Sleepwalkers, it ages well. It ages well. And it still holds its horror value.
So, we also got Droga. I mean Venom saying, hello, friends. Spider-Man. Yes, we have Spider-Man and Venom in the chat at the same time.
Things to happen.
Yeah, I wasn't too big on it, but I mean, yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not the worst of any CBMs we had recently. But I didn't know it was a comic book at the time. Well, yeah, I mean that's part of the problem too. That's why releasing it the way they did was why it commercially failed, because it's like people know who Jonah Hex is. So it's like, why are people going to see something about a character they don't know who this guy is? So you put that out now as part of a connected universe, then you have much better shot. Let's see. MCU was a mistake, to be honest. After Endgame, they should have ended it there. Well, no, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, because and part of it's because Spider-Man: No Way Home is like is my all-time favorite MCU movie, and that comes post Endgame.
They should have had a better transition plan. That's all.
Yeah, they should have had like set up like MCU the Next Generation kind of thing. There's Droga's insisting he's not Venom, and yeah, I don't believe him for a second. Let's see what else you guys got. Yurochi Soifan, superheroes are a thing of the past. They're outdated, oversaturation, mediocrity in film, television, comics let people turn off them the fatigue. Okay, that's how you feel, man.
Like I said, I don't believe in comic book fatigue. If the stories are good and the movies are good, people will show up.
And that was his lead-in, or I don't know. I can't tell quite, but that was the lead-in to the comment about. It was the lead into the comment about the MCU's mistake post Endgame, and also the correction after Endgame. They should have. Well, there. That's what Williams was saying.
That I 100% agree with. I mean, they should have had that. All this filler shit that we've been given in between. I 100% agree with that, Yuichi.
Well, I mean, obviously, the smartest thing they did post Endgame was Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, but we should have rolled that right into the other one, and not be so Avengers reliant.
Yeah, I agree. Aaron says, "I wish they would have made Jonah Hex on the CW." Well, I know that William's not going to be on board with that. Obviously, that's why I'm laughing about it.
It would have sucked, but yeah.
Reyes says, "I haven't seen Jonah Hex, but looks super interesting." Yeah, the makeup is actually pretty good on Josh Brolin with his his screwed up half of his face, and yeah. I mean, I just wasn't blown away by it. Since I want to see him to feel nuanced again. Well, I mean, we've had some nuanced ones, post Endgame, and I think we all here certainly feel Zack Snyder's Justice League falls into that. Also, I feel Spider-Man: No Way Home does. What else we got? There were like the best post Endgame CBM.
I can agree with this here. I mean, there's only been one good one. I mean, that they really committed to, and now it's because the Spider-Man franchise was already where it was. But Spider-Man is not filler with the MCU. It's actually, he's the only non-filler one that they put out. Captain Marvel is filler. Ant-Man is filler. WandaVision, all those are filler. All that is filler.
And that was the thing too about the first Ant-Man movie, is that's the one where they're most aware that the first Ant-Man movie is capitalizing on the fact that it's filler, or that the character is filler. I mean, that's the whole thesis.
But here's the thing: it was filler while the MCU was still going on. Even with Ant-Man and the Wasp, that wasn't filler because of the fact that it was part of the ongoing storyline.
Yeah.
Ant-Man, Quantum, all that was after. Captain Marvel, all this other stuff was after you told that story. You should have had it. They should have had a better transition plan that led us to the big three. And be honest with you, the reliance on the Avengers that I'm tired of that. Because,
speaking of that, Robert Downey Jr., I don't know if you saw, he'd given this quote in this one interview where he said he was asked about, would you be interested in further portrayals of Iron Man? He said, in fact, I'll go on Google. Let me see if I can find this quote. Because everybody is kind of
because it's in his DNA.
He said DNA, and a lot of people are interpreting that as like a Secret Wars appearance. Which
no, that's basically somebody asking an actor if he would take a job. It's pretty much what that is. You're asking an actor that if they would take a job in a role that they've made a lot of money. Of course, they're going to say yes.
Well, but he could retire tomorrow, and with how much he's made off of Iron Man. So
yeah, but he's always going to feel loyal to that role, because without that role, his comeback never happens.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I don't know if that necessarily means it could. Probably will mean now because of
Well, what do you say about math?
Yeah, if it's if those people are an integral party of saying bye to that level of storytelling, I think they will probably all be there. But there's a reliance on the Avengers that because of what they've been through and the money that they've made, I think it's time to move on to Fantastic Four. I think it's time to move on to X-Men. I think it's time to move on to Spider-Man and move on to this level of Spider-Man that we did not get for the first 3.5 or first 2.5 movies.
Yeah. But here's his quote where he Robert Downey Jr. may have recently won, and this is in the Hollywood Reporter, but Robert Downey Jr. may have recently won his first Oscar for Oppenheimer, but he's not looking to run from his Marvel past. In fact, the actor said he'd happily return as Tony Stark / Iron Man. It's too integral a part of my DNA, Downey told Esquire in a new interview. The role shows me, and look, I always say never ever bet against Kevin Feige. He's losing bet. He's the house. He will always win. So, yeah, it's pretty.
I agree with that. Believe me, we had people doubting him, doubting Kevin Feige, saying he needs to be ousted in favor of that fucking clown. And I'm like, what?
Well, the part about it being in his DNA, I mean, that's also very, very spot on because again, he was, I mean, he'd gotten clean by that, prior to Iron Man, but he was still finding his footing in his career. And Jon Favreau, I mean, he had to go to the mat for Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he had to fight to get him at the first Iron Man. So, it's and now that his tenure as Tony Stark has really eclipsed, the controversies of his past. I mean, you have an entire generation now. Like 90s, early 2000s, Robert Downey Jr. people, I mean, first thing they thought of was his drug problems, and now first thing people think of is Iron Man.
Yeah. So
he has completely transcended that, thanks to his portrayal of Iron Man.
Now that doesn't mean we'll ever see him again, but that's just somebody asking you. If somebody asked me about a role that made me the bulk of my fortune, if I would do it again and it treated me well, I'm probably going to say yes too. That doesn't mean I'm ever going to get that role again. But I think that in the fake comic book death universe that you're going to see a lot.
Well, do you think the odds favor further Iron Man appearances? 50-50?
Okay. If it's though, it's a cameo. Because at some point, they have to start building the roots of the MCU on things that we just haven't exhausted yet. And like I said, I think they've gone to the Avengers well too many times. I think you could have said the same thing about Spider-Man, but Spider-Man No Way Home turned the corner storytelling and narratively. That's not the same Spider-Man that people would have been, worn out about. This is a totally new direction for him that we never got to see when he was Iron Boy Jr. So now we get, actual Spider-Man. I think that's put more mileage, that you can use on that character. Fantastic Four is brand new. I think Fantastic Four can open up the door to the cosmic era and ways that's not for us. So I really want to see that. I'm tired of the Avengers. I'm tired. I got my fill. When I sat at the Avengers table, I got my fill. I did not leave wanting. I did not leave starving. I'm ready for a new meal now. That's all.
Forces Mel Gibson. It's interesting you ran that up because our RDJ, he actually, because when he was going through his drug problems, Mel Gibson really gave him a leg up. When he was in his hard times, and then RDJ like really stood up for Mel Gibson when he kind of had his issues. So they've definitely had each other's corner. I want Holmes 3 for it. I'd love to see Holmes 3 too. I do like the RDJ Sherlock Holmes movies. I do enjoy those a lot.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Richard John William Reed Richards will be the new face of it. I think he'll be the connecting thread. I think that's good. I agree with that way. I think he'll be the connecting thread. He'll be the explainer that makes all this cosmic stuff come together, just like that's in his nature in the comic book. I think Reed Richards is an immensely important character going forward, and I think they got the right guy. Yeah, I don't need any of that. See, I don't need any of this stuff. Some of this stuff is like good. Like I said, I like Winter Soldier. I mean, but like I said, when you come off with something, when you feed people what you've been feeding them for the last 12 years, and then you come up with that stuff, it's like that dog when you change his food from that nice, food with the real meat in it, and the next day you give him kibble, he's gonna look at you and he's gonna sit there at the bowl and until he's hungry enough to eat it. He ain't gonna gobble it up like you've changed the diet. So you've changed the diet of MCU, and people are like, this ain't what I've been eating. So it's gonna take some time. Can I please what? Soy funds. Oh, which one?
The Soy Funds, is that the next Tra or the next? No,
that's his name. That's a you reach.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah. Sorry about
that. Dr. Doom being the best villain. I don't know. I think Doctor Doom is a good side piece type of villain to bring in at some point in time, but I don't think he's FF's best villain. I think that they'll get to the point where they'll have their one-on-one visions, but as a collective universe, there's so many things that that you can use against them. The Celestials you could use against them, Galactus, Silver Surfer. They're going to be dealing with Silver Surfer sooner than later. Even not just the woman version. I actually think you're going to get Norrin Rad out of this, but I think with the Fantastic Four, they're going to be dealing with these threats that threaten the entire MCU, and that's where they're going to come in the best, because Reed Richards is going to be able to explain what you need to do, coordinate. I need your help with this. This is what you're good at, and then he'll be able to be like the binding thread of those stories, and then the FF will go with him. That's subjective, Spider-Man. I mean, Doom's been in the previous movies, and that didn't make the difference between. Pedro is boring. I don't know, man. I think Pedro will be just fine. You can't see his comments. All right, let's get into something I have been I've wanted to do, but body count. I love it, but it's some deep shit, and it was when Body Count came out with their first album. Let's just say we were going through some shit in Southern California. All right. OJ just passed away. Go a few years before OJ to understand where Body Count, the atmosphere of Body Count, you had that. And when Body Count came out, the biggest thing was Cop Killer. Not necessarily the most beloved sentiment across America. It divided the cities. It divided. I mean, because obviously, when you're dealing with the LAPD at the time and some of the stuff they were going through, it was easy to not like the police. All right. Training Day was based on true stories, and the stories that Training Day was based on were far worse than what Denzel portrayed as Lonzo. All right. So there was a lot of stuff going on, especially in the inner cities, especially under Daryl Gates, especially at Rodney King. There's just a lot going on. And then you led to the riots and everything else. So 1992, when these albums came out, this is where Ice T was speaking from. That's one thing. More importantly to me, he's singing heavy metal, and it ain't like Living Color, Cult of Personality. We get into some guitar, and here comes Vernon Reid type of heavy metal. No disrespect to them. It's heavy metal. It's speed metal. It's in some cases borderline thrash metal, coming from black folks. And in 1992, that wasn't normal. It wasn't normal to have black people listening, like I said, in my pockets where I grew up in, it was fine. But I realized how, lucky I was to grow up in that part of LA where we just listened to whatever we thought was good. As you got bigger and you got into concert scenes and you got into national scenes, there's a song, and I'm going to put it in the chat room, and I'm going to warn you guys, if you're listening to the show at work, Ruth, everybody who's listening to this show where you are sharing common area with either fellow employees or people who may be offended, if you're offended by the N-word, don't play what I'm about to don't play don't play it out loud. Put your headset on. Because this song I'm about to play, I'm about to put into the chat. Hold on, let me mute myself because I don't want to play it, and I'll hit the play button. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, if you think we get pulled down for other stuff, we would definitely get pulled down for this. You just muted yourself, man.
Okay, yeah. All right, I needed to make sure that I was muted on here first because it starts off. This song hits like a fist. It's a beautiful song. The lyrics was like, wow. And Ice T had the platform because there was a lot of people trying to break through into this genre of music that kind of got shut out because of the stereotypes. But Ice T was Ice T. He was so famous and he was so credible at that time. He brought it to like, he didn't give a fuck what you thought about what he was doing. He didn't care about your stereotypes. He loves this music. I didn't realize how big a fan he was when he was on Headbangers Ball with Ricky Rat. He's bringing up all the things that, this guy grew up in the hood and he pimping and selling drugs. I didn't know Ice-T was listening to Kill 'Em All. I didn't know Ice-T was listening to Anastasia Pulling Teeth. I didn't know Ice-T was listening to Black End or, all this stuff, but he was. And finally he says, I'm going to put out a heavy metal album. And when I first heard he's putting it out, I'm like, what? And then when I heard it, I'm like, holy shit. And this song I just put into the chat, like I said, if you get fired for playing it, if you're working at Walmart right now, or you're working at, you're working at the liquor, you're working somewhere where customers can hear them, especially if there's black folks, because the N-word is prominent. You can't blame me. When I heard There Goes the Neighborhood, I was like, I just kept playing it over and over and over again, because amongst the hierarchy in record companies and certain scenes, they took offense to this. They didn't take offense to us showing up to the shows wearing the t-shirts and anything else, but somehow, some way, when it came to playing the music, he turned shit over. And he just said, you know what, I'm gonna on two roads, I'm gonna make this heavy metal album at the time, and I'm gonna sing about killing cops. And the song wasn't necessarily about that, but it was about somebody in the neighborhood. It got taken. And what Cop Killer did, though, it opened up a discussion with the one person whose voice that the general public was listening to, because they weren't listening to the people that were living in the cities about anything that was going on in LAPD. But somehow Ice-T's fame made it. And I remember the month this came out, he was on the cover of Rolling Stone in a cop outfit. Ironically, he would go on to New York, the Law and Order, where he's played a cop for literally longer than most people who know who he is has been alive, which I think is ironic. This album, and it's offensive in every way, but it's symphony, man. Are you listening to it?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the way you would describe it is like it's offensive in every way. Oh, yeah, it's definitely spot on.
And I don't think they made a censored version of it. You couldn't have, because you would have had a song. I love this song. I mean, I love the album, but this is my favorite song on the album. Now, there's other things on the album, Body Count's in the House. I mean, and the band changed lineups because there were people who died, Black Hoodie. That's one of the ones that off of Bloodlust. Black Hoodie was about the Trayvon Martin situation, the Trayvon Martin murder by George Zimmerman. He made a song about that in Body Count. Ice-T was one of those people, and when you hear him talk, you understand this guy's honest. He's not putting on a show. He could have ruined anything. Could have happened to his career when he released this album. He didn't care. And by not caring, he's become an icon, in my opinion. He plays a more credible cop than a lot of people do. When he was rapping from both sides of the thing. He was a criminal before. I mean, but when he laid this out, and like I said, remember where we're at in 1992. It's not this. Like I said, he released his album the same year. We're in between Rodney King and OJ. That's where this gets dropped on you. So, all right, okay, let's see if anybody's Azteca, Battles of the Devil, There Goes the Neighborhood, Body Count's in it. Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring up KKK bitch, but okay, yeah. The Winner Loses. The Winner Loses was one that actually got radio play because it was a slower, more acceptable, still offensive, still had to censor some of that shit out, but it was somewhat playable later on in the evening. Evil Dick, dude, yeah. And like I said, you want to talk about turning point and conversation. I don't know too many other people that were playing metal at that time that were black that could have broken through like this. And it wasn't sanitized either. They were calling Living Color, Cult of Birth. They were calling that heavy metal. That was as heavy as that we could get at the time in 1988, 1989. Ice Cube just said, fuck all that. And it's heavy metal. And a lot of people, a lot of white folks that were listening at the time that were deciding what was on radio and everything else that were like, we can't have this. Our demo's not going to listen to it. When they heard that shit, they were like, not only is it metal, we can't call ourselves what we are and not play this. We're lying. We need to throw this stuff on late night, 12 a.m., 2 a.m. We need to, when all of us were listening, because back in the day, once you got past 9 p.m., the rules were loosened on you of what you could play on Censored and Censored. And that's where a lot of your metal, unless you were on pirate radio, a lot of your metal was played, all your hardcore shit was played later in the evenings and you would listen overnight. And that's where a bulk of the metal audience would get the raw stuff. So they started playing it and people were like, and then you have people who were just happened upon it, didn't know who Ice T was because that wasn't their demo, calling up that dude. I remember when they would play it after Metallica, they would play it after Megadeth, and they wouldn't let you know who it was unless you already knew. And people would call up, and this is back when you called up the radio station to find out who's that song. You didn't have Shazam where you could just aim the thing and be like, oh, wow. No, you had to call in and figure it out. And I remember them playing over, they were overlaying people's calls over Here Comes the Neighbor, or There Goes the Neighborhood, and Body Count's in the House. And people were like, this is hardcore. And then they started letting people know who it was. And at that point, it had already happened. But I mean, this album, oh boy. Just like I said, just the one track that I put in there tells you everything you need to know about that album. Yeah, it was good shit, man. I mean, yeah. Please like, subscribe.
Yes, and please donate also.
Yeah, donate too. Where are we at?
Let me go ahead and pull that up again. I think we're still at where we were at earlier.
All right, we're still creeping.
11,350. Yes.
Aren't we sad? We're only at. I mean, just judging where our original.
Hey, if nothing else, we got a lot out of our systems today on the Justice League roast.
Yeah. White people can listen to rap, and black people can listen to metal. People.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, I 100% agree with this, but you got to realize where we were at the time. I bought into this in the 80s, and I surrounded myself with people of all cultures that bought into it, and it's shaped my musical taste today. But the hierarchy and the people who control what got bought and sold and pushed, they had to be shown. They had to be shown, and this was it. It's kind of like right now with Beyonce. She's doing a country album. You kind of see the pushback from that. But once people listen to the music, people are buying into it because it's at the top of the chart somewhere. So sometimes you just got to put people in front of shit and just push play. Sometimes you just have to do that. You just have to allow people to just listen to some stuff, give them time, and trust me, I think they'll come into the fold. Let's see. Yeah, it sucks. And then YouTube gets caught up in all of that. Oh yeah, Ice T played a kangaroo in Tank Girl, by the way. He do it too. Tank Girl, we're gonna review that one day. And comic wise, Tank Girl was an awesome movie. It was an awesome time. Ice T plays one of the kangaroos in the movies. He wasn't afraid to do. I don't use the word hero. He's one of mine because he wasn't afraid to do outlandish shit. Tank Girl was outlandish shit. He was down for it. And you see him in it and they got the little ears that go back every time he gets suspicious. I love that movie, and I love him in that movie. Leprechaun in the Hood. Here you are. You're the Ayatollah of rock and roll. You're Ice. You are a cop killer. You're you're at here. Hey, you want to go rap with Warwick Davis? Yeah, I'm down with it.
And by the way,
Totally
I need to clarify this because Ice T is wearing the kangaroo suit and rap. Now I think I actually have seen that because I'm not really an expert, but this is what we're talking about here, right?
I can't.
I can't believe I streamed with you. I need ways to erase the things you insert into the stream out of my head.
You ever see Big Daddy? Come on. You ever see Big Daddy? Come on.
I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan when it comes to those movies.
Yeah.
I like him and other stuff, but no, I have not seen Big Daddy, nor will I ever see Big Daddy. It sounds like a fucking stupid movie, but hey, hold on. So now that Brad is blaspheming
I couldn't resist, man.
Then let me show you what we're actually talking about. And here we go. There we go. And he's got the bandana on too. So there you go. There you go, right there. See, Ice T recalls playing Kangaroo and Tangirl, but he was always just open to things. You know what I mean? He was always like, even playing a cop. You're going to a guy who's pretty much buried the cops for years. Hey, you want to play a detective? New York City detective? Yeah, let's do it. New Jack City he played a lot of cops after Cop Killer, by the way. Actually, no, he played a cop before. New Jack City was one of his bigger roles. It was before that came out in 91. Tank Girl's underrated, but it's Lori Petty's at her best. We need that I might watch that one for free. Oh, we don't even have a donate because that's just a good movie. And it's a great comic book, by the way. It was one of those things that helped push the indie genre up to the top. Saw what now? What did you guys see?
Yeah, what was that, man?
Oh. Okay, you guys are gonna. Sorry, I'm hitting the things out of. Yeah, he had, like I said, he would be speaking to things that, he was a pimp, he was a hustler. New Jack Hustler, that was about him. He rapped about him hustling. He was a drug dealer. He didn't hide it. He didn't hide it. Ice T, like I said, Ice T, and this album, like I said, I felt that he was speaking because I knew a lot of guys that were playing metal in their garages, and they were really good, but they couldn't get gigs, and not because the people who were running the clubs are necessarily racist. They didn't think that their audience would accept black folks playing that type of music. They never gave them a chance. And I know some of those guys who got chances in San Bernardino and LA area because I would go to their shows. They wouldn't be like stadium shows, but they would be making money. After that came out, and that song in particular, people were like, hey, you know what? Let's give them a shot. Some of these guys got shots and some of the guys. Now, it's still not a huge genre. There's more of us that listen to it than there are playing it, but still, the possibility wasn't really accepted back then when this came out. Now we look at it in retrospect. We're like, why would anybody be so and so? We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have a place for a musician to be able to create his own platform and get it out there like that. You had to go through steps to get stuff out. And if you were an Ice T and you were black playing that kind of metal, you just weren't getting out. You were not that type, especially the type of metal that. Because listen to that whole album. Some of that stuff is pretty fast and it's pretty heavy, and it's power chords before power chords were really big in that genre. So yeah, this Body Count, I could go the next 3 hours telling you how much that album meant to me, and I think it meant to the genre. I dig that Ice T does whatever he wants. Yeah. I mean, and you listen to him every time you see him. He just seems so at ease with everything about him. That's why I want to be that guy that just says, just experiments with does whatever he wants. There's no regrets. I don't think Ice T has any regrets about anything. Brad cracks Brad up. Yeah.
What you mean with the singing kangaroo? You want to pull that up again?
Yeah, no, yeah, listen, Andrea, yeah. I think you're Brad's showing some likes making money. Yeah, he likes making money from his earlier days as a pimp. And
I love that you spelled it like Ice T.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of kangaroos, have you all seen Warriors of Virtue? I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it myself either, but I know of it.
He's been a cop for like 29 years on that show. Yeah, 24, I think. But yeah, he's up there. I'm not proud of that comment.
Brad makes himself laugh. Well, apparently I make all of you laugh whenever I'm watching something terrible. So,
well, when your voice cracks,
might as well lean into it.
I can't totally disagree with that or disagree with it at all. Because when Seven Dust came out, though, if Body Count doesn't do that, is there space and tolerance for Seven Dust to do that? What they did, because I think Seven Dust actually, I don't know. I can't really argue against that, but having been a teenager at this time, there was no Seven Dust. There was this. There was the 80s heavy metal, speed metal, thrash metal, and then there was this. So I would have to say that in progression, maybe, but I would have to side with I would have to say that the breakthrough, because not only that, it was somebody that was already on a high profile, bringing it to more people than ever that could have ever got it than somebody coming up through the genre. Ice T was already Ice T, and the fact that he was even doing this shed more light on it. So that's a good conversation to have, though, Vince. Oh, I understand. And I had to think about that. I mean, I think 92 was just a different. We were just in a different place in 1992 when this came out. All right, a band called Death. Let's see, Public Enemy and Anthrax collaborating was hella cool. Run DMC, that we talked about this all the time. Walk This Way. When they did Walk This Way, when Rick Rubin, who was managing and producing both of those guys, put them together, because Run DMC was on the rise. They were on the rise. Hip hop was just breaking through. But Rick Rubin, who also managed Aerosmith, was looking at Aerosmith, and everybody had written Aerosmith off for dead. And he saw, at least, and rightfully, correctly so, saw at least 25 more years of hits out of those guys. And probably one of the most important moments of music history was him having a vision to put them through to each other in 1986. We look at that in retrospect, and that's not a big deal. But in 1986, you think 1992 was still a ways off? 1986 was really, rap was not where rap is now. I mean, this was Run DMC and Beastie Boys was rap to the general public, and Aerosmith had faded. They had faded. So when he put them together, what that did is that brought two genres together, and it also brought two demographics together that were not listening to each other's music. Black folks were not listening to Aerosmith. I can tell you that right now. Nobody, I wasn't even listening to them. White folks were not open to listening to Run DMC. It just wasn't acceptable. This video, that song, made it acceptable. Public Enemy and Anthrax, I think, followed the trail of what had happened before. Public Enemy was one of those other free thinkers that just did whatever they wanted to do, and Anthrax had their built-in base to where they always believed in collusion. So yeah, there's some points in history where certain genres, got to look at each other, and I think they're very important. Like I said, those two you brought up are some of them. Okay, cool. We'll get together. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna need help with it because right now I'm just smashed, and I cannot look beyond Free Comic Book Day because we're doing some massive shit for it. So, I think I may have heard or seen of that.
I was about to say that's about 3 weeks away now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is. I think that's on YouTube. Hold on, I really do think that's on YouTube. Hold on, because somebody sent me the link to that one day. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. You can get. Hold on. Here we go. I have the one with the Spanish subtitles, but there's a bunch of them on there. But for time's sake, I'm gonna put that in there. Yeah, watch this. Here we go. It's in the chat. Thank you for bringing that up, Mighty Rex. No, nothing against Living Color, but that was the limits of it in 1988, 1989. That was it. That was the limit. It seemed like the mainstream music would allow for that. You didn't see that was the hardest you saw or knew of at that time, and compared to what Ice T was about to do, it was different. They were in a different culture, and they weren't purely. I mean, cult of personalities. Like I mean, it goes out. I'm not Glamour Boys and all that stuff. Not a big fan of that. But when Vernon Reid was actually going hardcore, with his power, he was one of the best at it. I don't think they did enough of that. But once again, the fact that they were considered heavy metal, because that's the hardest you saw us playing at that time. That's where Ice T threw that contrast in there. All right. Let's see. All right. So yes, they have, but I got to see them, by the way. I got to see them. They opened for Metallica, Fight, Collective Soul. I don't know why they were there, but Metallica. This was back when the Binge and Purge tour. If you've ever been, and if you've ever seen them, Azteca, you probably have because I think you're in LA. Remember what they said. They always thank the crowd for giving them a chance, for even showing up to this show and giving something like them a chance because it wasn't the norm. They always said that at every concert. Why? Because they took them forever to get to the level that Suicidal Tendencies would be known to be at. I mean, you had to meet Suicidal Tendencies wasn't readily available. It wasn't. You weren't. I was in LA. You weren't hearing it on the radio. But this was in the mid '90s when I saw them live, and they were saying, and this is when you knew. This is when they had made it, and they were thanking the crowd for thank you for even taking time to to partake in our experience. They even knew it then. What they were doing was groundbreaking. But once again, I'm always going to go back to Body Count because the level that Ice T he took the platform he was on is like this big giant floodlight, and he turned it to us in ways that a lot of these other bands, no disrespect to them because they're great, could not do. They couldn't make the industry be like, oh wow, we got something here. It's just it took guys of higher profile. Let's see. Aaron, I'm going to have to get you back on that one because there's not a lot for me to bring you. There are a lot out there, but I don't. Nowadays I don't listen to as much metal. But I have a list because we I don't know if it was on. I don't know whose show I was on, but but that's how I found out about that documentary that you guys are talking about because there's we were having a discussion about electric guitar. And that where Black people fit as far as the history of heavy metal, and I was trying to make the argument, and I brought up a bunch of bands, but not they're not ones I listen to on a regular basis. But if you look at some of the prime players in electric guitar, even Ted Nugent said if they created a Mount Rushmore of electric guitar, almost everybody, the only white guy that would be on there was Les Paul, and that's because he basically created the thing. Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, Jimi Hendrix. We were trying to make a case, and then I was bringing up like some of the people who are the standard bearers of heavy metal who harken back, and they will mention those same people as integrated into their music. So, but it's been a long time since I reflected on a lot of the bands that I would listen to because it just wasn't a lot for me to listen to at that time. Don't be sorry. Be sorry about what? Oh no! If I bring up your question, don't be sorry about All I wanted was Pepsi. Yeah, you know what? Azteca, blast them. Put them out here. Because right now I don't have any of their top of mind, but yeah, put them out there. Yeah, that's the documentary I slipped into the chat. I don't know how far behind. Am I far behind? Oh no. Okay, cool.
I don't think you are too much. Yeah.
No, yeah, there we are. Okay. A lot of the bands I listen to now have black folks in them too, or Mexicans in them. So it's like, but like I said, we just did that out. Wow. Okay. I usually don't spend that much time on the musical turning point, but that was to me, that's a big one. All right. Have I covered all my,
I think we have, yeah.
All right. Well, it's time to do that regretful thing that
that's where we let all the rambunctious hellions, as I call you guys, in. So they were just with us for the Justice League watch party a few hours ago. So I'm sure there'll be more talk about that.
All right, there it is.
Give me a 10-1 odds that Spider-Man's gonna be the first one in.
Well, Spider-Man's coming. Fourth is coming. Droga's coming. Rhea, I think, wants to pick a fight. I think she challenged somebody today. So she'll be in there.
Okay, you guys are taking it.
Hopefully, none of them take the bait, and we can just.
Oh, I was wrong. It was actually Clint who was the first one who jumped in.
Oh, Clinton's about to get high, so we really want to have him in there.
How's it going, Vince? How's it going, Clint? How's it going, Fourth?
Hey guys.
You all everybody speaking at once, so that's good. Vince, how's it going, Clint?
Hello, Clint. Hello, Vince. Hello, Fourth.
What up?
Everybody speaking at once, so that's good.
Yes, your show's about to get more interesting, William, in about a half hour.
Yeah, especially since I can hear my voice being repeated for some reason.
I think that's due. I think it's usually Fourth. That's usually Fourth.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, my brand new 75-inch TV is just too loud.
You know what, dude? I don't need to hear about your 75-inch TV no more. Not until I get one, which may be fucking never. Who knows?
Well, Fourth, if it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure my roommate stole my 65-inch TV and put it in their bedroom like a month ago. And I'm like, yeah, before I leave, I'm gonna call you out on that.
Oh,
not just call them out. Get your TV back, maybe.
Well, yeah, that's the plan.
Wait a minute. So your room. But it got stolen from you and your roommate, because I think I actually might have uncovered some video footage of that happening.
Oh Lord.
Oh God.
Brad,
we're about to get knocked off.
Yeah.
Hey, William, I got a question for you.
What's up?
The Last Ronin, was it written by Eastman and Laird? I've never read The Last Ronin.
I think so. I don't. I think he was part of the crew. I think it was written by oh man. I wish I had it here. I wish I hadn't sold my copy, but I didn't think we were going to be talking about this yet. Because
here it is. Here as it's happening. The TV theft, right? We're talking about here.
Whoa. No. It was
something out, baby.
Well, you said it is written by them.
It is written by Kevin Eastman.
This sucks.
Oh shit! I might have to pick that up, William. I think you got a recommendation across.
It's really good. Turn this, dude. What do you?
So, William, I got another question. It's less. So, You were talking
ahead.
about talking to somebody about the mutagen ooze the other day as far as relating to the Daredevil.
Yeah,
I think we talked about it some months ago. I haven't been on the show I wasn't in the chat for the last 3 days, so maybe you did talk to somebody about it. Since
Yeah,
this
'cause
stuff
we
is
were
timely,
talking-
maybe it came up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Because we were talking about that Daredevil connection, that Frank Miller connection.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I thought it was you. Okay.
Well, I
Yeah,
have
right.
talked. We've talked. I don't know if I talked to you about it, but it's been brought up on this show, and I
It's
I
all a
knew
big
it.
blur to me now. It's all.
I always like hitting you with the
blur.
trivia because I feel like you know all the comic shit. Speaking of which, you know the reference.
Just real quick, we have a Rational backstage.
Yeah, it's telling me his
He's not connected.
Yeah, his mic is it can't.
Hey, fix your mic or your camera. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Do you get the reference of my avatar today, William?
You mean with Iron Spider?
Yeah, but
That
why
Live
do I
Web?
have the Iron Spider on today specifically? When did it debut? What event did it debut in, William?
Civil War.
And what are we talking about today?
Oh, dude.
And who's the guest of honor right now? Spider-Man. So he's wearing the Civil War armor for the Civil War topic. That's what it's like to be a hero, William. Hey, everybody in the chat, just so you know, I take the heat off of you. William fights me, so he doesn't have to attack you. It's all good though. I'm a superhero. I can take this shit all day, every day. William, you keep fighting people in the chat defenseless. Did they teach you that? What do you like to say? The military code of United Code of Justice.
When were you
What is
attacked?
the Code of Justice called? What's the code? Do you fight unarmed people in the United? Is it the United Military Code of Justice?
How are you unarmed?
Because I got the 4 arms. Well in the chat. I can't fight you back because I get skipped. You change subjects. You trail behind. So it's not a real time. It's not a real time argument. Plus, I don't want to steal your thunder from your show. It's fun.
Wow.
Where'd Spider-Man go?
I tell you, if I don't get William to say "fuck you, Clint" at least once,
Here, let me
I'm
get it
not
out the
doing
way.
my job.
Hey, let me get this out of the way. Fuck all of you guys. How about that? See, now
And you know what my rebuttal is, William? Do you know what my rebuttal is, William? I love you, man. You have the best channel on YouTube. You see how real hero deals with his villains? He's got to turn
fuck
them
me
up,
too.
Everybody.
You know what I'm saying? For you got the actual real life connection with this guy. He still says fuck you. I mean, come on, man. You're not just an internet guy. You're a real fourth 1000 out here. You're a real living walrus, bro.
If you're watching on the replay, so you don't feel left out, because I want to be equal. Fuck everybody. All right. Well,
hey, Ford. Do you remember this name? 1,000-year, or what is it? 1,000-word pictures or 1,000-year pictures? That's how long. Me and him have been around.
I cannot stress highly. You all got to watch Fallout.
I think I'm gonna watch it, Clint.
Fallout was great. I couldn't today.
By the way, that was why I joined. I don't always get on here, William, but watch the first episode of Fallout.
Yeah,
I
you told me
guarantee.
that. I was gonna watch it. It's
Okay, so the 3Ds aren't always persistent with all of the episodes, but the tone is, and I think you'll end up enjoying like that whole series, even though you never played the games. Like my girlfriend has never played the games, and as soon as we watched the whole series together, or I'm hoping it gets more, she's like, so how do I buy Fallout and play with you? Like, that's how much she was into it.
Wow.
Here's the thing: I don't even like playing video games, and I love Fallout, the show.
I have to. I'm backed up on my shows, but I'm so backed up that I don't know when they're coming out anymore.
It's got a really good mystery that kind of runs through it that you got to push through to see what it's all about, and when you get to it, it's pretty frightening, even for a lighthearted kind of show.
I gotta go use the restroom. You guys fight each other, do whatever.
Do we have enough room for Raya? Because I thought this was a big Raya fourth conversation.
The link is in there. I want to hear.
I want to hear it, Raya. I want to hear it. I'm interested, Raya. If you still got the juice for it. I don't know if it's.
Oh, she said she was tuckered out.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it. Brad, if she pops up, bring her in. I'll be right back.
Well, all right. Well, Brad,
what's up?
Are you looking forward to Bridesmaids next week?
Well, why would I be looking forward to Bridesmaids next week? Because I'm never watching.
Because I was actually thinking about proposing that since William's going to be gone at the WWE thing, maybe we do just like an hour, show or a little movie viewing.
Bridesmaids by the minute.
No,
right after Scare. That's a second podcast, dude. You got fucking 2 seasons already set up, dude.
Do I have to keep playing this clip I've already pre-prepared? about what that would look like.
Brad, if it's a double feature, you suffer and William suffers.
That's the double feature of it all.
You were expanding.
You're no wuss, right? You just don't want to deal with the bullshit that we offer. I get it. No, we take no offense. It's chaos.
Am I really going to have to pull this up again? About what
Brad,
this
we are here
like?
we are here to enhance your cinematic knowledge. You're watching stuff that you would have never watched on your own, thanks to us.
Exactly.
Oh, I've seen it. I have seen it.
That's the bad part. He did see it.
Oh, why would you watch that?
You can't win for losing, can you, Brad?
Okay, I'm going to have to. I have to keep sharing this with everybody. Bridesmaids by the minute.
We're gonna turn Brad into a supervillain, a real life supervillain, if we keep fucking with him. He's gonna rob a bank and.
I've already. This was every episode you'd want to see of that right here. Either of those by the minute.
Tom Green didn't even watch this movie.
You know what's funny about that? You know what's funny about that too is that because I've joked around with people that if Freddy Got Fingered is now legally a Disney movie because because that's.
So Brad, are you looking forward to seeing this Last Ronin coming up, the movie they're gonna make or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it's again as a.
I know he's looking forward to Scary Movie 6.
I know it.
Which movie they're making?
Clint decided to depart.
This Ninja Turtles, the Last Ronin.
Last Ronin.
That Wayne brought up a little bit earlier today.
Yeah,
I want a proper sequel to the first Turtles, man, and then build into a Last Ronin.
You don't consider 2 the sequel to 1?
No, hell no.
Hey, 1 is the shit. 2 is kind of, but
2 is actually probably my favorite of the originals.
Are you a fan of the Super Shredder in 2, Brad? Is that why?
What? Yeah, kind of. Well, also
the Super Shredder was cool, right? He was like a
Shredder. But also that ending didn't amount to a whole lot because it's like just the pier just kind of collapses underneath of him. So.
Yeah. He got killed in a garbage truck in the first
Brad, I could sense all the tension you're back, man. You could fix it.
Oh no.
We're not going to
let him do the accent. No, let him do the accent. Okay, we got options. If he wants to continue doing the accent, we can start Scary Movie over again. Or 4th can be Brad. Which one you guys want? Vote in the chat.
Well, with Secret of the Ooze, there's a whole wrestling thing at the end of that, right?
Go Ninja.
I don't really think that's
Brad. No, it's not wrestling. It's in the dance club with Ice, Vanilla Ice. Yeah.
Well, so, Brad needs some way to release his anger and frustration. So let him do the Bane.
No, I'm saying like Super Shredder. He was played by Diesel. What is it? Kevin Nash.
Oh, he was
Super Shredder.
Really?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You're talking about Kevin Nash from like the Wolfpack back in the 90s and stuff?
Yeah,
that's the last time I watched wrestling. Okay.
He played. I'm sure William could tell you. TMNT 2. Yeah. Kevin Nash, the Diesel, played Super Shredder.
Not a glowing endorsement for
just like by the way, just like
what are you bringing up?
Jingle All the Way.
I'm bringing up the thing we're going to be watching next time.
Real quick, Brad. Just like in Jingle All the Way.
This is a million times better than the best Scary Movie.
I guess not.
Donations to watch it? I'm hitting refresh button. The same
bathroom assault.
I'd like to watch these guys hit each other.
What were you saying, Vince? You were saying something.
Yeah, that's the thing that you guys don't want to do a watch party on, but we're doing anyway. So that's what we're doing.
Sure.
we want to watch it, Brad. Go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
Anyway, Jingle All the Way. The huge
with Arnold.
That's
actually kind of. I do actually like that a lot. I think that's underrated. I have that on every year for the holidays.
My Jingle All the Way. I love that movie, but
I thought it was Raid 2.
Well, the Raid 2 is objectively, it's objectively the best thing ever made. But
Go ahead, Vince.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. I'm sure you guys remember watching the 97 movie Jingle All the Way.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. The big Santa, when he has the fight scene with all the Santas in the warehouse, and that big Santa comes out. It's like, I'm gonna deck your halls, bub. And
go ahead, Vince.
That was
Kevin Nash too. That was Kevin Nash too.
No, that was Paul White, The Big Show.
Oh, really?
Go ahead,
okay.
Vince. Brad,
man, you kind of cut him off every time he was trying to get going, dude.
I'm just finishing your point for you.
Sorry, I died in a game.
Yeah. Oh, see, yeah, Aaron. Look at Aaron.
I died.
Yeah. And I could show you the whole thing if you guys will get off with the scary movie kick.
What we
Go
did
ahead,
with
Vince.
the bridesmaids.
Oh, here's a good one.
There's
for
no
Rhea.
karate in Bridesmaids.
Yeah, which is part of why it sucks. but far from the only reason, believe me. Rhea asks, Brad, can you rank all the Perry movies you watched? Okay, all of them are bad. There you go. Actually, if we want to do like any watch parties of actually like good spoof movies, okay, we got to start with Young Frankenstein, okay, because that's the best one ever. That is the best spoof ever. That set template for what a funny spoof would look like, and they have completely abandoned that in modern spoof movies. But yes, Young Frankenstein.
I disagree. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah, that is pretty awesome too. Yeah, I'm not like a big Monty Python guy. Oh, thank you for confirming you're totally not Venom there.
I'm not Venom. I just happen to be a big Venom fan.
Right, Smiley.
No, Brad. I knew I had a feeling this would ruffle when I mentioned my esteem for Bridesmaids. I had a feeling that the ladies would be particularly taken aback by that. So, but yeah, I stand by that.
Go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, what's your point, Clint?
Oh, I made it.
Say again.
I'm just fucking with you.
Actually,
if William's there, I would tell William, don't cheat yourself on the movie Civil War with all the complaints about realism and stuff. Go watch it in the theater. It's great
for yourself.
Yeah, I did like it. I did enjoy it.
I think finally I'm going to be well enough to see Godzilla tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Have you been sick, man?
I'm always sick.
Oh, come on, man.
So Black Star Afro brought up Snowpiercer. Have you seen either the movie or the show? Anybody in the panel?
I have not seen Snowpiercer.
I haven't seen either. I've been meaning to give both of those a look because I hear good things about them constantly.
I watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a director's cut that came out? Because I remember hearing that the Weinsteins chopped that movie up and messed it up.
Well, yeah, because that's what they did. I mean, among other far worse things they did.
Larry's not here to help me out, but I think it's the Parasite director for it that directed.
Yeah, I think that was who did Snowpiercer, and then they did. And Snowpiercer, that's about that. Actually, we could have brought that up the other night, William. We were talking about post-apocalyptic movies because that's set on that's when the world has kind of been turned into a popsicle.
Train that keeps going around after the nuclear.
Yeah, because like the remnants of civilization, what's left of humanity, the world is in a new ice age, so we can only survive. But we staying aboard this really massive train that's called Snowpiercer that's just zooms through the world and keeps everybody mobile, and it's kind of like a big metaphor for classism and things like that.
Yes, there's going to be a lot. They're the people who are in charge of the system.
Yeah,
they're happy. They're happy with everything. So,
they're definitely happy. They're definitely happy with what they just got with Godzilla vs Kong.
Yeah, 135 million, and they're going to probably wrap up with about 4 or 5 when it's all said and done. That's before PVOD. So yeah, they are happy, and they've stated their happiness with their next decisions, and we're going to get more.
Speaking of POD, Dune 2 comes out April 16th.
Oh really?
Oh really? They took their time with that though.
Well, yeah, because and it's going to get a re-release anyway.
My nephew loves that movie. He's seen it like 5 times up there. He just saw it the other day. He loves that.
I still got to get the first.
No sending well wishes to Clint. Fuck him. Let him die. No, I'm just kidding.
William Kang Pao, ladies and gentlemen. William Kang Pao, super villain extraordinaire.
Yes,
he knows how to die.
I was gonna say, I really, I don't know if I told you, William, but I really appreciate the fact that I won, tickets to Godzilla X Kong.
Cool.
No, I didn't get to go. So we bought the tickets for the next day. And we woke up to 3 flat tires.
Oh, sorry to hear that, man.
It's your roommate?
No, it wasn't. Our whole area flooded. and it just like it really messed with our tires.
Did you
So
you could reschedule, right? Did you reschedule?
Well, no, we tried to reschedule, and the theater wouldn't let us.
Oh.
So we just got completely screwed out of that. But hey, me and my girlfriend just wanted to say, hey, we appreciate that, but life sucks, right?
Well, I wish,
You got the tickets from William, or what? You want them from him?
I remember I was giving out tickets. I did a contest a couple of weeks ago for when we were promoting King of the Monsters.
Hey, William, can I make a donation so I could give Vince some tickets to the Godzilla vs. Kong to make up for that loss?
No, you can't make a donation for it because whatever donation you make, it's going to be tied to scary movies somehow.
No, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
You can't donate to the fundraiser. That's crazy. I got a question for William and Brad, and kind of going off of Fun Fun's deal, and kind of relating to what Vince is talking about regarding the MonsterVerse, right?
Yep.
America, or Legendary, or whatever you want to say, it sounds like they caught the formula, because the Godzilla movies always start out as serious, or the first one, like Godzilla in '85 and all that, they'll start out seriously.
Yeah.
And then they'll have more monsters for him to fight, and then you'll get the Kong thing, and it'll devolve into the campy King, or the campy Godzilla fighting everybody kind of thing, before they redo it all over again. So not only did America make it to the Kong part, but they actually had a follow-up where they didn't actually have a follow-up in the past. So it's interesting to see kind of how we've learned from the mistake. Whether or not you like these movies, obviously it's a successful franchise, and it's even more successful, I guess, than where it originates from. So that's all.
Yeah, that's the one.
What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because they've also, as far as like the serious tone they start with, they kind of found a way to have their cake and eat it too with that. By cinematically, they've moved into a very lighthearted territory with where they're at now.
You see a lot in the Godzilla. It'll start serious and then it'll go.
And then but with Monarch, it's like that's really kind of maintaining that darker tone that started with the first Godzilla movie in the MonsterVerse. So they found a way to sort of thread both needles at the same time within the same franchise. So
William, would you say the Monarch show is the American equivalent of the Ultra Q show?
I guess. I mean,
you see what I'm not saying it's one for one, but you see what I'm saying? Does it serve the same purpose?
It serves the same purpose.
Okay.
Serves the same purpose.
Okay.
Are we ever gonna get a Godzilla -1 VOD?
Yeah, man. They're stingy with that. I'm waiting on that.
I'm kind of wondering like when they're gonna, because that's been a minute, and especially these days with the transition.
I think it's
around time for theaters to VOD. Yeah, it's been longer.
I don't know what's up with that release, because there's a movie I'm looking forward called Kubi that came out like last May, and you still can't find it anywhere. It's a Japanese movie. You can't
and those of you on the Discord know I'm still waiting for the book Ganapath from India on on streaming or
getting things into the American market, just like the old days. Sometimes it's a long delay.
Oh, sometimes it takes a minute, and that's Ganapath. That's another. If you guys bring that up enough, that might turn to the new raid for me, you guys. So you can make fun of me for that plenty. I'm sure you will do it, whether I want you to or not.
Oh, you're a victim, Brad. I'm sorry.
Brad, get him, man. He's messing with you, man. He's ribbing you. Get him back.
That's okay. I mean, there you go. Brad's a victim. I mean, I'm a survivor, is all I'll put it, because I made it through 5 bullshit scary movies and 1 meat.
Brad, the answer is fuck you, Clint.
Yeah, that's all it is, man.
That really is the answer.
Can we get a T- on this Penguin show? When is this coming out?
That's supposed to be. I don't think they have a hard date for that yet, but I think it's supposed to be the fall, just kind of generically in the fall. We go ahead and look that up. It just says like late 2024 is kind of what they're saying, but they haven't given it a hard date yet. Let's see. Yeah,
you're pretty stoked for this, Dead Boys?
Yeah, the Wikipedia says it'll be released in late 2024, but that's as far as they're saying right now.
Is there ever going to be a season 2 of Sandman?
Yeah, that's in production.
Hey Vince,
we already
get
know
yourself,
what Brad's looking forward to.
Vince, get yourself a popcorn or something. I don't know what the movie ticket prices are where you're from, but enjoy, buddy. You check your donations, William?
I'm looking right now.
I'm afraid to.
So you send him a donation, so William sends the movie passes? You're
talking about to my...
I
see. I got you.
Stream Elements.
Okay, cool. I'll hook you up there. Dude, Vince. I'll
All right,
get your
I'll let-
information. I already got your information from other stuff. but-
I got
Yeah, I'll
you.
let
Yeah,
you know how to do it. But hey, I gotta make this joke though. Brad, you know you're looking forward to Meet the Spartans too.
So Vince decided to depart early tonight.
Is it going to be based on Gladiator 2 and the sequel to 300?
It's going to be
based on the raid.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, and what
That
makes you think?
yeah,
and
that has nothing to do with
what?
that. That's exactly how it tracks.
The first one, the first Meet the Spartans is based on 300. Another epic that I also love. And guess what? That one sucked too. So that will all if these same knuckleheads spoof the raid, it's not going to be any better. So.
Hey, yeah. Fourth, Ruth is giving you love in the chat, man. I'll give you some ups too. Give you your propers, man, because that was a big movie you just made right there, man.
Also, thanks, Fourth.
Hey, no problem, man.
Raya's got a question for the panel.
Okay, let me go ahead and bring hers up.
Hold on, real quick. Let me answer this real quick, then go to hers.
Okay.
I'll star hers. I got her starred.
Got
Yeah, we we covered it. I covered the bullshit backlash that came from my fellow wrestling fans that are, for the most part, sorry, full of shit. And yeah, it made a big deal. Do I agree with him doing it? No. Is it going to be the end of AEW's world? I think that's a little bit hyperbolic nonsense. And then a lot of the people who are fucking around about it were people who are just offended of the fact that AEW even exists. And when you're offended about something, just its mere existence, you need to re-examine shit, like your life and everything that you're doing right now, because that's just kind of sad. All right, go ahead and bring hers up.
And then I can, I just thought about it for a little bit. So if I could touch on it, her question is thoughts on movie theater subscription services. Are they just delaying the inevitable or do they help the cause? I think they help the cause. And here's why I would say that. If you start doing the subscription service, obviously that's the way of most things right now, right? Most things are subscription service, so most of your customers are ready for that. That being said, you can have an opportunity to not only put the big tentpole movies in there, but smaller movies and even Tubi type movies can be seen in the theater. Why is that good? Gets asses and seats, and you can sell concessions. So if people weren't going to go to the theater anyways, and they're already declining and going to the theater anyways, if you always have people in the building using the facilities, then you still stand to make money, and you also can promote other types of movies, so we're not stuck with tentpoles only, and then it's either a bad review or movies don't get made type of situation. So that's my thought on it.
Subscriptions are always going to be good for the business because it provides consistency, and it's like insurance. If you have a consistent amount of revenue coming in, your decision making is a lot broader. You can greenlight and take chances and experiment with things that you would not have necessarily been doing because you had to do things on a project return basis. I also think that subscription services are going to be the future of the cinemas to begin with. I don't think I think they're going to reach a revenue sharing deal to where there's a certain pot of revenue and no matter where it's screened, somebody's going to get a certain percentage. The theaters will get a certain percentage to keep them going, and in turn they will turn around and they will showcase things for these streamers, and then that revenue split will be there. And then obviously you're going to get the concession people involved as well, because that's where a theater makes its money. A theater does not make its money on the ticket price. It makes their money on concessions. So I think between all of those, and that's what they need to be talking about at NATO, instead of lying to people at Cinemcon, telling them that the meteor is never going to come and the dinosaurs are always going to be there. Let's look at how much is being made and figure out what's the bare minimum that the theater from the subscription services need to survive versus what everybody else needs to be able to keep these movies in circulation, and then have the concession companies come in and chip theirs in, and then get with the commercials and the ads and all that stuff and develop a pot of money that is always going to be there, so that the theaters are not so desperate and not being wiped out by streaming. If you create a symbiotic relationship, they almost have to depend on each other in order to exist and make more money. So that's what I think.
Some of these symbiotic.
Ray has a follow-up here. My one counterpoint is that you all may be saying this with the assumption that customers have infinite accessibility to go to the theater. To that point earlier, streaming is where the audience reach is.
Exactly. And I've always said, because not only there's a lot of things that can keep someone from going to a theater. For me, it's time. For other people, it's time and it's money. So if you make these options available, but if somebody picking one option doesn't damage someone else. So if we have this consistent pool of money and I can't go to the movie theaters, but I still see the movie, the cinemas are still getting a cut of that, because they're only getting 35% right now to begin with. So
yeah,
you
they
can
might get a
actually-
bigger cut because of the subscription deal.
Exactly.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And
Hey,
the revenue sharing. Who just disappeared?
Rex also kind of adds onto this a little further back. He's talking about theaters
Oh,
should play
bye,
the
Vince.
premiere of Fallout, but that could be true for a lot of stuff. They could play the premiere of this Penguin show coming up or any other highly anticipated shows along with, just during the week or something to kind of get to promote it a little bit.
Like they did with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
There's some other religious show or something like that's playing in theaters, like a 6-parter.
The Chosen.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of them doing that.
Because these re-releases are getting out of hand. Like some of them are cool, good ideas, like re-releasing the Spider-Mans, and doing the 20-year anniversary of this, but they're starting to do like 13-year anniversaries of movies that didn't fucking
because
matter.
right now we have because of the strike.
I know. Yeah, later, Vince. Missed him.
Yeah, see you, Vince.
Bye.
Does anybody else
Go
have
ahead,
thoughts
Vince.
on this whole subscription deal that we're talking about? Because Ryan did ask everybody.
Oh,
So.
no, and if it definitely frees up enough capital for people to take risk and give us different types of movies, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, and also, I mean, it's definitely, it frees up a lot of people, in terms of the audience, just economically. I mean, speaking personally, I mean, that's how. I mean, I have my AMC A-list subscription. That's usually how I'm, seeing movies. Is because anybody who doesn't have that, $25 a month, you get 3 freebies a week. So, I have the advantage of, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, so, I can use that, very liberally. But for a family, let's say a family of 3, that's also each showing. That's not like a per group thing. It's like it's one showing per person. So for a family of 3, you're still burning through all of your if you do like one showing where you use like your 3 for the week on AMC, you burn through that in one showing. But still, it's that's economical for them to a certain level because you just got all 3 people into that show for free. But so it kind of varies, on a person-to-person basis for like the economics of it. But it does definitely provide a good foundation for people, as the movie going end of it.
Here's another thing it does. If you could tie things, you could tie free incentives and free movies into the collective bargaining and the collective agreement that benefits everybody. The theaters would benefit from that traffic, that increased traffic, because like I said, they don't make their money off the movie. If you come in and you have a free movie, but you buy some licorice, you buy popcorn because you've been free of that burden.
Seats, right?
Yeah. So now each one of those units that is in there, sitting in that seat, even if they didn't pay, has still bought an average price of a ticket, if not more.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be there on a Wednesday afternoon or night watching a movie.
Also, the food quality at the theaters has greatly improved.
Yeah.
It is so much better than from 10 years ago.
And their markup, by the way, the markup on food, which the price differential, the margin, cost margin is really low for them. They don't pay a lot for their food. They got deals, that are put together so that the really expensive food that they've inflated the price on, they're paying pennies on a dollar on that. So that's where their markup is. So when you come in and you buy a pretzel, or you buy a hamburger, or you buy any of that stuff, that's where they get their benefit from. So they want to have you in these seats. It benefits. Now, if they're getting part of the money, the pool, part of the collective bargaining, and they're selling stuff, that's how you can keep theaters alive, because it's the traffic. You guys are literally sharing the same customer and making the collective advantage off of all of them. That's where I think this has got to go. This has got to go there,
Especially, they should start selling manga comics in theaters, because I heard those are like top sellers.
Here we go again. Who just disappeared? Who just left?
Drogan, which I actually had a question for Drogan. He just bounced on us. William,
what's up?
You said something a little earlier in the chat before you touch on Ruth and Raya's comments, and I want to capitalize too much time. You said that Dr. Doom, and I'm not talking about movie Doom, it's subjectively the best villain in Marvel. Dr. Doom is objectively the best villain in Marvel.
Nah.
His feats and his success rate is out of this fucking world.
Well, you're basically, to me, I'm using different criteria when I say that, though.
Okay.
I'm using how is this villain used as a good narrative, as a good storytelling tool. Because guess what, the Beyonder is way more powerful than a lot of people.
Well, is he so powerful that Doom has stolen his power now 3 times?
But it's a stupid, lazy villain that they admit that they wrote because they couldn't.
Right, and Doom has taken Galactus's power, who's one of your favorite villains too, twice, right?
Well, Korvac. I mean, it's not the power level. It's
Doom's not a high power level. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes him the best. Come on, man. You know Dr. Doom's the best.
I mean, I don't know. We're talking movie wise too, by the way.
I'm not, because I don't. You know, they nerf all these heads in the movies, so you know, if they put me in charge of these movies, William, you wouldn't hate me so much. I think if you saw the movies that put out there, I'm just fucking with you. But go ahead and read their comments. I had to get my little Dr. Doom piece off. You know, that's
Speaking of Dr. Doom, what is his power? I've watched the movies and I have no fucking clue.
He's one step below Doctor Strange as the fucking the Sorcerer Supreme, right? He's smarter than fucking Tony Stark is. He has more technology than Tony Stark is. He has diplomatic immunity.
Runs a country. So.
He runs a country. He runs companies. Right?
Liberia,
he's taken over the fucking Earth multiple times and got bored and just gave it back.
You're telling me what he can do or what he has done.
Yeah, okay. His powers include similar to Iron Man's, where you have the different suits that do things, and then he's a master of magic at a level of Doctor Strange. So if you are aware of Doctor Strange's power set, that's what Doctor Doom can do.
Okay.
Yes.
That helps.
And he's a genius at the level of Reed Richards, and it's said that Reed Richards' power of multiplication of cells, the reason he can stretch, also does. There's a similar thing going on in his brain. Reed Richards is the smartest person, right, in Marvel because of a power that he has. And Doctor Doom is always pretty much at his heel, or foiling whatever the Fantastic Four are doing with Reed. So, and then Doctor Doom is also everybody's villain. He's not just the Fantastic Four's villain. He can lock down the whole Avengers and everybody. Right.
Okay, I'm sold.
I mean, the movie, but the movie Dooms they give you is a piece of shit. Because in the first movie, I like the actor, but he was electric powers. Okay, Doom's suit can shoot electric powers. Doom has a little fucking thing in his gauntlet that he can change the size of shit, right? So he has just little pieces of sand in his gauntlet, and when he shoots the sand at you, they're fucking giant meteors. He just does shit like this all the time. He'll sit down in the middle of a fight and put his fucking hand on his chin, and just talk shit to you while you're trying to fight. You can't even lay a hand on him. He's steady talking shit. He's extremely arrogant. I mean, this is just, my observation of Doom, I guess. So my subjective opinion, but I mean,
you got to come back for that, William.
That's all valid, but the question I thought he was asking me is when we were talking about movie villains, who should be in the movie.
No. I was talking about.
I'm like, no, yeah. I don't think Doom is necessary. I don't doubt. I mean, all of that, but I thought the question was being posed as who should Fantastic Four face when their cinematic versions, and I don't think Doom does it because that type of enemy for what the story that they're probably going to tell, which is he'll be there, I'm pretty sure, but I think they're going to go a lot larger because they need a villain that connects everybody at once. And has to do with probably what the multiverse is doing. I'm quite certain that Doom would be involved, but I don't think Doom should or would be the prime villain at the start.
Here's an idea, William. We're talking about the female Silver Surfer and the possibility of being in another universe. Could we see the Maker as a villain? So the evil Reed Richards, he's a pretty powerful and scary kind of.
Not immediatly, no. I don't.
But over time, maybe you think?
Yeah, I think at the end of the run, maybe.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Raya and Ruth have a lot of comments here, so and other people as well. So
Ruth says, "We'll go back up to Ruth.
Back it up a little bit, maybe to Ruth."
So I went to the Odeon yesterday to do a monthly pass for £15 a month. I paid that for my ticket yesterday. If I live closer, I'll do a monththly pass definitely.
So to the subscription service, Odeon must be her theater.
Yeah, I think that is a theater chain in the UK, isn't that? Or it's like a big theater over there. It's like one of the kind of historic ones in the UK. And Rhea says, Ruth, that's awesome. I'll probably subscribe to a service like that and use it. Yeah, again, like I was saying with my AMC membership, that's kind of my main way whenever I go. It's like, you get for $25 a month, it's 3 free ones a week. So it's not having kids or being married, that's it's a very economical way to go about it.
I think Raya also has a big question for Fourth here. She has a question for everybody.
Yeah, Ruth just confirmed. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, even if you have a family of 3 or something to go see the movie, it's still economical because how much
more would you spend?
Yeah, exactly.
Do families have to go to the movies? So hey, we can go once a week Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think fourth is a good one to answer this. As someone with a lot of commitments, are you compelled to see a movie just because you have a subscription? I would think the choice of film would matter most.
So what do you got fourth? Are you still here with us?
Okay, I was typing in the chat to answer because I don't know that was going to come up. But
Gotcha.
Just see a movie because I would feel compelled to go if the movies changed. If subscription services to theaters changed, what type of movies got released? If the
like more altogether, like I was saying, not just the big tentpole joints, because
if the
well,
movie
you
stayed
would, because the justification would be there. If you're dealing with a contained pool of money, then you can release something because you've lessened your risk. So, say if I'm thinking of something, I'm releasing something that's an avant-garde type of movie that may or may not do well, but you believe in it, you think it can make some money, but you under the current circumstances you can't, because you could lose your ass, you could lose your job. But if we're pulling in a certain amount of money, that single loss isn't going to really hurt you as much. One bad movie isn't going to crash everything down, or one good movie that does make a lot of money won't hurt you, because not only can you put it in the cinemas, but you can rotate that movie throughout. You could rotate that movie throughout all of your platforms. So if you're sharing it with a streamer, you can share it with the streamer. If you want to put it, there's so many more ways for you to make the money. It justifies you making a weird off-brand movie that might not ever get made. You know what I mean?
So how does that tie into your choices you would make then, fourth, based on the original question?
Yeah. Okay. Let's just say if the movie stayed the same, but there was a subscription service, then I probably wouldn't bother using a subscription service to go to the.
What do you mean by stay the same, though? Is that
if you were just seeing the same old stuff and you're going once a month to go see?
Are you talking about like indie type movies being put into the circuit?
Yeah. Like if it allows.
And Ray has run some numbers here too. So 25. Talk about my AMC.
If it allowed indie movies to be produced, released into theaters, then I would go to the theater more often. It was the same type of theaters, and I continue to go once a year like I do now.
Yeah,
Ray, as far as my AMC and analogy, run some numbers here. So 25 a month times 4 people in the family on average plus gas, snacks equals the average cost of groceries for a week.
There you go.
So give up groceries for a week and you take your family to the movie for
that's where somebody.
I'm just comparing the weight between the two on the decision scale. Which you have to. I mean, if you have a family, you have to. You kind of have to do that, and that's why streaming is.
And like William says, sometimes you got to bring the cousins and the mistress and the nephews and the nieces too. So it's not just
a one-off if you're a bachelor,
Yeah.
Mistress.
That's William's analogy every time.
Part of the family, Sancho, whoever you want to bring.
Yeah, which again, it's like for me personally, it's because I'm unmarried and have no kids. It's like the economic analysis is again very very singular compared to the what a family would be. Spidey the Mistress, yeah.
Because you're watching the wrong movies, Brad. You got to be watching more Bridesmaids movies. And find yourself a little lady.
Are you just not a Tina Fey fan or an Amy Poehler fan? Is that what it is?
Well, they weren't in Bridesmaids.
Do I keep confusing Mean Girls and Bridesmaids? Is that what I'm doing?
I think you might be. Yeah. No, Mean Girls I actually do like. Mean Girls is actually legit funny. No, Bridesmaids. The one in it, as far as the cast, like the one who I am not a fan of is definitely Melissa McCarthy.
You're not a big fan of Spy?
Spy was actually the point where I started kind of thinking like, okay, she's actually starting to get better.
She is a professional comedian.
Yeah, but you could be a professional. Doesn't mean like your results are always that great.
Fair enough.
You consider Sandra Bullock a comedian?
Sandra Bullock? No, he was talking about.
Oh God! And she did. What was the one she did with McCarthy? What was that one that they did together? The cop movie.
Cop one. Yeah.
The Fuzz. No,
the Heat. The Heat.
Our husband to direct these things.
Yeah, which is probably part of the problem because it's not yielding great results. They did that one where she's like the chick who's on the road trip with her grandmother. That was pretty bad. But anyway, yeah. That was where she started looking up for me a little bit. Was in Spy, or the one she did with Statham, and then like I said, Ghostbusters. That was one where I was just kind of on. as compared to everybody else, had very strong opinions, either positive or negative on it.
Yeah, I didn't have a strong
So
opinion either way.
I did like Kate McKinnon. I think Kate McKinnon's pretty funny. I did enjoy her a lot in it, but
she was insufferable in that movie. The only person in that movie I was rooting for was Kristen Wiig.
Really? Yeah. Well, yeah, she was in Hangover 3. Yeah, and Hangover 3 sucked. So.
It's like Ghostbusters should try to pull the This Is the End crowd together and make a new Ghostbusters with those people.
Oh, the Rogan team.
Yeah, I know they won't get.
Yes, that movie is hilarious. That fucking movie is hilarious.
That is the last. I would say that's the last hilarious movie that I consider I watched.
Oh man, when Danny McBride was wasting the water, that shit was funny as fuck, dude.
Dude, Danny McBride makes those if it doesn't have Danny McBride in, I can't watch it.
The Pineapple Express scene, he definitely elevates Pineapple Express. Otherwise, it's just another Stoner Saturday Night type movie.
Exactly. Good morning, Sunshine.
What has she done recently, Melissa McCarthy? Because what was that one she was just in with Disney? She was in Little Mermaid. Yeah, she was Ursula. Which again, that was I didn't care for that one too much, but that wasn't because of her. That was just because I'm just not that big on all these Disney remakes they've been doing.
The live action remakes. They make way more money than the originals do. That's why they keep.
But I think for the most part they're pretty bland and pretty because they follow the originals too closely almost every time. I mean, they, like the Lion King is a prime example where. I mean, the Lion King is so close to the original. I mean, I'm surprised they even bothered with voice actors. I mean, they might as well just like taken the dialogue from the original and just pasted it into the new one.
Eastbound and Down is fucking hilarious, Azteca. That show is fucking hilarious.
Eastbound and Down is amazing.
That shit is hilarious. The fourth season, not so much, but that show is fucking hilarious. You gotta watch that.
Danny McBride was part of the Halloween.
His stupid arrogance is funny. That's what's so funny. He's so confidently stupid.
It's the way you want to be stupid if you are stupid.
He's gotten into other genres though that are really kind of like like he's done some horror and science fiction stuff that hasn't landed.
Yeah, the Halloween franchise.
Ruth has a question for me whether or not I go to the movies a lot. I have like 5 movie theaters within a mile of my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't go to a lot of movies. I used to go to a movie. I used to go to like movies 3 or 4 times a week, but for whatever reason lately I don't. My nephew really convinces me. He gets so excited about movies coming out and tells me I got to watch them and I should watch this and that. So that's what kind of gets me in the. Yeah, Arizona doesn't have anything but strip malls and movie theaters.
Yeah, well, I lived there many moons ago.
Sounds like Vegas. Vegas has a ton of theaters.
Yeah, we're the clean Vegas. We have everything on my road I live on. I have everything that Vegas has, minus all the dirt and grime.
Clean Vegas,
and the 20-degree more heat in the summer.
In the 20, yeah, that's the trade-off. Yeah, it is 70 right now. It was 90 earlier today though.
Well, because when we were stationed there when I was a kid, we lived in Fort Huachuca in Arizona, which that's about 50 miles north of the border to Mexico. But because of the elevation, we would get snow there every Christmas.
Yeah, it's strange because here in the valley, I think it snowed one time since I've been here. It was for like 10 years. But up north in Scottsdale, just North Scottsdale or Payson or Flagstaff, it snows like 13, 26 inches over the course of a winter. There might be a big storm where it's a foot of snow, so it gets pretty nuts.
All right, guys, I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
All right.
All right.
Next time, Rhea.
Short show. Yeah, next time. I want to hear that conversation, and we should do it before the movie comes out. Is there a way we can get Raya and Forth to do a special like on Wednesday?
I put the link in the chat for
She said she said she wasn't up for it right now, which I can respect. But is there a way that maybe we can get them just these two on the panel on like Wednesday or something before the movie comes out? I think that'd be cool.
Sure. All right, guys. Let's see where we're gonna.
Yeah, Ramon chat.
All right, so we raised about $50 today. I wish it would have been more, but
so which the moral of the story is we have to now do the raid 2 because people would come out in droves for that.
Wrong.
They didn't come out in droves.
Do the raid 2.
988.
All right, so 988 Suicide Crisis. That's where all this is going to. Got a feeling we're going to make leaps and bounds this week. We got several things going for us.
I think so too.
Coming out, we will be doing some special stuff for it that I'll be announcing later on as I get more clarification. I will be at the movie itself, Rebel Moon Part 2 Scargiver, this Wednesday. Ray will be there. I think Forth, you're coming if you're. I have you.
Yeah, I got to check the point plates.
All depends on how I feel, but I would like to go.
All right.
It's gonna be,
Well,
it's
you
gonna be
guys
a
all be there.
star-studded. You got to do an after show, William. If you're gonna have
Yeah,
all
we're
the-
gonna. Well, yeah, we'll do it after show. We'll do it. I don't know if I'll do it for them, but I'll probably get back here and do one. So, all right, guys, I'm tired. My allergies are fucking destroying me, so I gotta.
Well,
gotta
and plus, the burger is waiting for you to eat him because the burger is very good.
So what
I got
happened to
fish
the
and shrimp
musicals
today.
that we used to play?
Yeah, Larry asked about it.
Larry's he's in Europe right now, so he doesn't request them.
He did request the
But,
Dread musical, though. He did. He did. Say
We'll play
Yeah, we did
that.
that
We'll
one.
play
We
that
did
next
that
time.
one.
Yeah, we did. We'll play one next time, guys.
We'll have to pick one ourselves, but he usually comes up with these crazy ones. So, all right, that's it. Everybody say bye.
All right,
Later,
everyone,
guys.
Try later,
Yeah,
William.
try
Later,
you
Brad,
later.
Pam.
No, I'm gonna just whatever.